Hey guys. I am attempting to go live. I know Sri was supposed to go live, but I think he's having trouble with the internet or something. I don't know. I'm also currently dying as I go live. Um, I made some dinner tonight. I felt a little lazy. My anxiety has been kicking my butt for the past week. So I just made some spaghetti with some garlic butter, brown garlic butter and Parmesan. Hey, JK Pioneer. But it's Saturday, and I do know that sometimes people want to hang out on YouTube and be distracted and stuff. So, since I'm a hermit and anxiety is so debilitating for me, all I do is stay inside. I thought, why not go live and give people a place to hang out and discuss thoughts and ideas and things. Um, I was actually on the phone with Ash for like a couple of hours just talking about life and how I'm actually way too much of a chicken shit to go on dates right now. And it's not so much as I'm scared. It's just the fact that I don't even know if I could handle it at this point. Like, do I want to sit here and wonder what your interests are and things like I don't even think I'm in the proper mindset to even do stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know. One thing I do know is apparently I like to go live and talk about philosophical shit and theories about the universe. That's pretty much my only happy place at the moment. So I'm trying to change that mindset, but it is really hard. It is really hard when the majority of your life you just are completely taken over by anxiety. It pretty much explains why I'm a social hermit, why I dress the way I do, why I don't really put effort in my appearance half the time. It's just because I'm so overcome with anxiety and stress. I wish it was different, but that is what I am. And so I'm trying to, you know, mentally convince myself to leave California, to move to like Arizona or something, because I'm such a dipshit. Who in their right mind after going through a massive breakup like the one I'm going through, who would willingly go to their hometown to try and heal? Because every time I try and go out, it's like I'm literally haunted by the ghosts of my past, like everything. And that's like half the reason why I don't go anywhere, especially out here. It's like I can't go anywhere without sitting there and being like, oh, I was like here this many years ago. It was a completely different story. So I don't know. I stay in all the fucking time. And I feel like if at least I move to a different state, maybe I won't be fucking debilitated by so much anxiety and stress and depression all the time. Because I mean, if it's not this with this fucked up whatever you want to call it that I'm going through, if it's not with work, if it's not with the Chase community, it's like it's always something. So I at least like to just hang out and talk about some stuff that inspire me. Like that's pretty much my happy place for right now is just trying to discuss things that inspire me. So that's why I like to hang out with Street and Trusted and Troy and Rob and stuff because it's kind of like my only lifeline right now, I guess you could say. I'm trying to get better and do shit for myself. It's just so different. New starts are always an adventure. Yeah, it's also terrifying because it's like if you think about it, if I did move out of state, I'd be going away from my family and everything. It's just I don't know. I wish someone had like the answers to life so that we would understand why we do the shit we do. That would be great. Hey, Susie. Starting to get a really bad headache too. This is great. Hey, okay, Larry. Hey, Davey. Hey, Jeff. Yeah, I'm like debating on if I want to try and fix my eyebrows because I fucking hate them. It was so funny. I was watching TikTok the other night and a makeup artist was explaining like what to do and what not to do with eyebrows. And the way, like, everything that she described on what not to do with eyebrows is what I do to my eyebrows. And I was just like, oh God, this is so bad. And it's funny because like now the trend is when you do makeup, it's more like the natural look. That's the trend. And some of us were convinced when we were teenagers to shave off half of our eyebrows so that we had matching eyebrows with our friends that shaved all their eyebrows. And so therefore our eyebrows never fully grew back to how they used to be, i.e. me. And so people, they'll take like brow gel and brow freeze and like comb them up, the eyebrow hairs up, to make it look like more bushy and natural. But the thing is, I don't really fucking have natural eyebrows. And so the thing with makeup is like you can imitate that. You do like makeup brow strokes to make it look natural, or you just bite the bullet and you go and get your eyebrows microbladed. And so last week when I was at the hair salon with my stylist, I was like, hey, have you ever done microblading? She's like, yeah, I've been doing that shit for years, like ever since she was, a teenager. And I was like, well, does it hurt? And she's like, it hurts so fucking bad, I almost passed out. And I'm like, oh, great. I really want to sign up for that. It's just like I'm realizing, especially living in California, especially, you got to put yourself through pain and fucking torture to look like how they show you on TV. Like all these gorgeous models and everything, it's not real. They got their eyebrows microbladed. They got their lips filled. They got fucking liposuction. Like God knows what else. They do fake tans all the time. They get their lashes done all the time. And I'm not knocking that. I get my lashes done. Or more so, I just do my lashes myself now. But there's some things that I'll do to myself to make it look a little bit better. Because, I mean, this is what I do. But am I going to sit here and terrorize myself and put myself through pain and torture just so my eyebrows look fucking normal? I don't know. I feel like maybe I could find a loophole to that because I don't want to spend like $500 to get my eyebrows fucking tortured. Jeff is having a beer. Nice. I actually wish I got a beer because I spent a bunch of money on the ingredients for the 48K martini with Shiloh. And don't get me wrong, I thought it was really cool. It was really cool because Shiloh had like a martini with me, even though he's in New Mexico, I'm in California. I was talking to him the other night in Discord on Thursday because like I was hanging out in Discord. I wasn't talking to him on Discord. I was talking to him on Facebook while I was in Discord talking to everyone else. And I can't remember how it started, but everyone's like, oh, see if Shiloh will like respond to your messages. And he was like super chatty that night. He was talking to me for a while, like a really good while. And it was funny because I brought up the whole martini thing again. I was like, oh, look, I bought the ingredients for the 48K martini and I'm going to, get dolled up and send you a picture of the martini I'm going to do for Friday. And he's like, why not right now? And everyone was like, oh my God, Shiloh said right now, go do it. I'm like, you guys, I just got off work. I'm like exhausted. I look like hell. And they're like, just get ready real fast and do it. So I did it. I did like a half-assed attempt to look human, did the martini with the presentation of the San Lazaro book. And it was so funny because it took me like 15 minutes to even open the package of the San Lazaro book. That's why it took me so long. And so while I'm like trying to open the damn book, Shiloh was messaging me a picture of a martini he got. He was at a steakhouse or something. And I was just trying to respond. But by the time I actually like really responded, it was already kind of like that whole I don't even know the right word for it. Like when he was messaging me, it was a nice flow and it was really cool. And he was answering questions and he was joking. And then I just took too long. I was just being too much of a girl and it took too long. And then it kind of just started to like fade away. Plus he's like an hour ahead of me or something, I think. Is New Mexico an hour ahead or an hour behind? I can't remember. But I was trying to get others in Discord to drink with me because I'm like, I don't want to drink by myself, And so Christy was like, oh yeah, I'll go to the store and drink with you. But by the time she finally came back and was like in Discord, everyone was over it. Shiloh was like, I'm in bed now. You guys are ragers. Like, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm like, shit, I don't blame you. And so Friday, I got all dolled up and I like really put an effort too. Like I did my eyes all cute and smoky eyed. I did like the tape trick and everything. And I put on color. I was wearing color, which is very, very rare for me. And I was wearing this really cute, like jean jacket, and I took a few pictures. And then I was watching because I was supposed to do like the panel thingy on Ben and Ashley's after, but everything just like went south. And I was so bored of the X marks the spot solution that I ended up falling asleep. Like I was watching the video live, and while I was watching it, I knocked out drooling on myself pretty much. So I didn't wake up until like 9 o'clock at night. And then I was getting messages from Christy saying like, hey, are you awake? Where are you? Everyone's in Discord. But I was just like so out of it. I kept like going in and out of sleep. And so by the time I was actually fully awake, it was like 11 o'clock at night. And I was just being a dip. I was just being absolute dipshit. So I decided I just want to sleep. I needed to catch up on sleep. So I slept. And then today I slept more because my schedule has just been a little off. But it was really cool. Because the next morning for Friday, I like sent Shiloh a picture of my Kella Greens drink, and I'm like, I'm a swamp witch. This is what helps me get over like a hangover. And then I was like, I am dragging my feet at work because normally I wouldn't really want to, drink on a work night because it just would make me fucking miserable the next day. And he was like, you're a lightweight. And I was like, too fucking Shay. I am a lightweight. Because I only had I would say I only had 4 sips of that martini Thursday night. But the thing is this, his recipe for the 48K martini is actually 6 parts gin, 1 part vermouth, and then the olive juice with 2 olives to garnish. And y'all don't get it. Like that is so much gin in comparison. It's insane. And I still have some. In the fridge for me to just pour into a martini glass if I want. But I'm telling you, it would be absolute chaos. It would be absolute chaos. Either I get very flirtatious, because I get flirtatious when I drink sometimes, or I might get really, nostalgic and sad and miss my relationship and probably set myself back fucking 5 months of healing, maybe. Or maybe I would try and call someone just to hang out with and regret the fuck out of that. So I don't know. Like it was fun being like cute and flirtatious and having a martini with Shiloh and stuff. But I'm like, I really shouldn't be drinking that shit. Not right now. So instead, I'm hanging out with you guys. I binged all the great reality TV shows right now, like Perfect Match. It's a nice distraction. But yeah, I know Street's off on an adventure, and Christy is somewhere on an adventure. Everyone's on an adventure, except for me, because I am a hermit and I never leave this house ever. I've been watching Outer Banks. Good show. Exactly, Davey. I love Outer Banks. It's so good. I did get a few audiobooks. It's really funny. One is called Frost, and the first chapter is about the main character. I think her name's Ava, and she's like half fae, half I think she's half human. I can't remember. But she's with her boyfriend for like X amount of years, and she goes to his apartment on her birthday, and then she has Thai food and stuff. And she ends up walking in on him cheating on her with some like B status actress. And she's like so pissed off and mad that he cheated on her that she throws the entirety of the Indian food, like the paneer masala and everything, all over them. And it's funny because it's kind of like, I feel like I gravitated towards that book because it's the main character is pretty much having to start over and finding out she could do it on her own. She doesn't need a man to support her or do anything. And it's just this fun fantasy series. I love fantasy. So I haven't fully got too into it because every time I listen to it, I end up knocking out. It's how I go to bed sometimes when I can't sleep. I'll listen to audiobooks. But it's just funny, like the way this writer explains things about getting dumped, and like it's just so crass. It has no filter, and I love it. It's totally up my alley. So I've been trying to listen to those books. I bought 2 of them. There's like 2 books out so far. So I got 2 of those from my Audible account. I had like credits that I needed to use. And then there's this other book I found that looks like super interesting, but there wasn't like a audiobook version. It was only just, Kindle. So I ended up downloading it, and it's called, let me go back to it. Why am I on Terry Scant? Okay. Oh, I got those too. Ooh, I'm bad. Okay. Um, or maybe that was the Audible book that I got. I got Second to the Right, which is like a sexy retelling of The Lost Boys and Peter Pan. I'm all for it, but right now I don't have the time to read it right now. Let me see my audiobook. I think my Audible, where's my library? I think my Audible, there's Frost, but I think I got the other ones. Yeah, Spells for Forgetting. That's what I got on Audible, right? So let me bring it up for you. This looks like such a good plot, and that's why I came across it and I didn't even think twice. I was like, I'm gonna buy this. This is so good. So it's about, let me see. Yeah. So a deeply atmospheric story about ancestral magic, an unsolved murder, and a second chance at true love. Emery Blackwood's life changed forever the night her best friend was found dead and the love of her life, August Salt, was accused of murdering her. Years later, she's doing what her teenage self swore she would never do. Living a quiet existence on the misty, remote shores of Ceres Island and running the family business, Blackwood's Tea Shop, Herbal Tonics, and Tea Leaf Readings. Well, that's a mouthful. But when the island, rooted in folklore and magic, begins to show signs of strange happenings, Emery knows that something is coming. The morning she wakes to find that every single tree on Ceres has turned color in a single night. August returns for the first time in 14 years and unearths the past that town has tried desperately to forget. August knows he is not welcome on Ceres, not after the night everything changed. As the fire raged on at the Salt family orchard, Lily Morgan was found dead in the dark woods, shaking the bedrock of their tight-knit community and branding August a murderer. When he returns to bury his mother's ashes, he must confront the people who turned their backs on him and face the one wound from his past that has never healed, Emery. The town has more than one reason to want August gone, and the emergence of deep betrayals and hidden promises spanning generations threaten to reveal the truth behind Lily's mysterious death once and for all. Like, doesn't that sound so freaking cool? I was like, I need a really good distraction to just like reset my mindset, you know? And so I got that one. And I haven't opened it yet, but I'm going to. I should be reading it right now instead of being live, but I'm live right now. But I just want to share that because I feel like some of the females in the Chase community, they might really gravitate towards that too. It's just a really good storyline. Like, who can like ignore a mystery on an island steeped in folklore and magic and then a murder mystery? Like, I love murder mysteries. So I did that. Be right back. Gotta make a grilled cheese for my poopsum to go with the chicken and dumplings. That is so cute. Okay, Larry. If you ignore them, they will get butthurt and grow back. Wait, what? See above from Susie and I. Okay, what did you put? Candy, you've come a long way. Job, paying bills, and you have a great group of supporters here. Moving saved my niece after a similar situation. She's now married for 2 years. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Susie says, Kenny, you were my lifeline. Oh, Susie, you know I'm a complete goober, but I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. What's cracking, buddy? Sorry, I'm neglecting chat as per usual. Hello, Susie. Susie has hello. Hello, John Teeter. Okay, Larry says hello, Susie, JK, Davey, INFJ, and you too, John. I just shook my hips to Shakira and realized I'm way too old for that. I'm better. Oh, that's funny. The best murder mystery is the one you got away with. Oh, goodness. That's a little concerning. I read a few books a month. Yeah. I used to read a lot, like a lot, especially with, what was it? It wasn't the House of Sky and Breath. That's the second one. Crescent City. Crescent City is a Sarah J. Maas book series and that is like intertwined with the A Court of Thorns and Roses, the ACOTAR. I love all of them, but my favorite is Crescent City. Like, oh my gosh. I remember the moment I got dumped, my instant reaction was to try and channel my inner Bryce Quinlan because she is one of the most powerful female protagonist in a book series. And she's like fearless, she's a little curvy, she's got like vivid, super bright red hair, she's like half fae, and she doesn't really let a man define who she is and what she's worth. And so that was like my first instinct was to channel Bryce Quinlan. And I did. I like bleached all my hair, dyed it bright ass red, added super long extensions because that's what she has, started dressing a little more risque because that's what she does in the book. But oh God, she's like one of my most favorite characters in a book. And yeah, obviously I kind of got myself out of Fantasyland, but I still need to finish the second book because there's too many spoilers that keep popping up on TikTok. And I'm like, no, I haven't finished the book yet. Because I keep like, I don't know what it was. I was so engrossed in the first book, but the second book, I'm just like, how are you going to top the first book? The first book was insane. It was so good. Like, you can't touch that. The way that Bryce Quinlan is like one of the most badass female character leads in a fucking book series of like any characters from any genre. She's a badass. And I would love to tell you why she's such a badass, but then it's like, I don't want to ruin it for you in case you do want to read those books. But I will just tell you this. Have you ever had a main character who's the hero of the book take out one of the most God-fearing villains to ever exist, turn them into dust, and then vacuum up their ashes and throw them out the fucking door? It is the best. Like, it is the best thing ever. I'm not kidding. It was so good. So I gotta finish book 2, but I've got a lot of other books to go down the rabbit hole with. And what's funny is like, I want to just like give my brain a mental break and just read fantasy. Like, that's what I do when I need a mental break. I read fantasy. I like to just go into that little fun world and not worry about my fucked up world I have to deal with and all the adult responsibilities and the fucking debilitating anxiety that's surrounding it. So I like to gravitate towards fantasy because it's a nice distraction. But I mean, my brain is constantly thinking and constantly piecing stuff together and constantly asking questions about our existence. And somehow it keeps taking me back to the damn troubadour riddle, and I keep chipping away at it and finding more. So I end up buying more books on more mysteries of the troubadour riddle. And I'm like, I just want to take a break. I just want to fuck off for a day and just read some fantasy. Ugh, I need it. Now the people that covered up for him need to go down. Covered up for who? Oh, yeah, I don't really know about that. Alex Murdaugh. That name sounds familiar, and I did see recently he got tried for that, but I can't really place a name or a face to the name, and I can't really remember what he did. I just know he like murders family. Did he like, was he the one that set up a hitman to take out his family and then make it look like he was trying to kill him? Is that it? I can't remember. Like, I researched way too much, so I can't retain as much information as I used to, or I just don't want to remember shit that's kind of not important to me. Best murder mystery is the one you got away with. So twisted. Kiwi says, I would rather watch movies than read. Well, I mean, it's fun to watch them create the fantasy that the book was trying to portray. But I mean, sometimes the books are so much better than the movies. The only time, like, there's only 2 books I will say were actually worse and the movies were better. That's Stardust. I absolutely love Stardust. Like, Stardust is probably one of my top 10 favorite movies. And yeah, call me a weirdo. I don't care. I love Stardust. I might try and watch it tonight just to feel better. And the other one is The Count of Monte Cristo. Count of Monte Cristo, that was written by Alexander Dumas, I believe it was. The book, fuck that. The book is awful. The movie, though, the movie was amazing. Same thing with Stardust. And it was Neil Gaiman who wrote Stardust. He's the one that did of Gods and was it Gods and Monsters or something? American Gods. He wrote American Gods series. He wrote a lot of series that have been, created into TV series. Like the one about Morpheus that just came out. I forgot what it's called right now. He's the one that wrote those. But my all-time favorite will always be Stardust, even though I hate his book, like how some of it ends and the way it's done. Like, I'm not a fan of it, but the movie was so good. It has like Michelle Pfeiffer and what's his name, who plays Daredevil in the TV series. Oh my God, I can't remember his name right now. Normally I know it. Hey, Zozo. 2-time life sentence. Wait, Huli, what'd you retract? I was staring into the sky. Book is a true story. What? Oh, okay, hold on. Speaking of, okay. Now the people that covered up for him need to go down. Convicted, he killed his son and wife. Book is a true story. Sandman, there we go. Thank you, Sandman. Because I have the first Audible of Sandman because they turned it into this like I can't even cinematic type of experience listening to the Sandman on Audible. But then they turned it into a TV series on Netflix, binged the crap out of that. And I'm not going to lie, I remember there's one specific episode that was like focused and centered on death. And normally I run from it. I'm like one of those people that if someone's dying, I just freak the fuck out and I run away and I avoid. I don't talk about it. I shut down. But the way they described death in The Sandman, it was just so poetic and calming. And I don't know. It makes it less traumatic, I guess I could say. Huge Gaiman fan. Yeah. I still haven't finished American Gods. Like I binged the fuck out of the first season. Oh my God, I love the first season. And then after I was waiting so long for the second season, I think I watched the first like episode or two. And then something happened where I just wasn't watching it anymore. And I think there is like 3 seasons and then they canceled it. And I was just like, how can they do that? How can they cancel American Gods? The way it was written and the characters, like the actors they chose to portray the characters in the book. Oh my God, it was perfection. So yeah, I've got some TV series to like catch up on if I really want to. I did watch the new episode, season 3 of The Mandalorian. I love Pedro Pascal. He really is daddy. I love it because you have baby Grogu. It's so cute because it's like they're slowly building up the arc of the storyline for season 3. And it's not too much happening in the first episode, but I about fell over laughing because there's always like something they have baby Grogu doing that's just like absolutely hilarious. Like, what was it? Second season, he kept eating the eggs of this very rare, almost, what was it? It was like a endangered species. And she only had like a couple of eggs left to try and like keep her species alive. And fucking baby Grogu is going and eating her fucking eggs. I was like, that's so twisted, but he's a baby, he doesn't know. And so this season, they're trying to get something fixed, right? And so they have to go to, I forgot what they called them, but they're like these little tiny people, these little tiny creature things. And they're like blacksmiths or whatever, but they're super tiny and they're trying to fix something. And the next thing you know, baby Grogu goes up to it, is like squeezing it, trying to hug it. And they're like, no squeezing. I'm like, this is the cutest thing ever. It's like just running around trying to hug these little people. I'm like, yeah, I'd be doing the same thing. I can't fault you on that. But yeah, I'm super excited for, the new Mandalorian season. I love the Mandalorian. They did such a good job with that whole story arc. And then there's another show I'm supposed to be catching up on that just dropped. I can't remember. Oh, I gotta finish. I think there's 3 episodes of The Last of Us. I think the finale is supposed to be Sunday. So I've got 3 episodes, I think, to watch. And I've been holding off on these last 3 episodes because I'm like a little traumatized, kind of like that whole Glenn thing from The Walking Dead. I don't know if I'll be able to handle it. So no spoilers. I'm watching it. I can't spoil it, Zozo, because I haven't watched American Gods since season 2, episode 1. I don't know what's been happening, so I cannot tell you. Dumas. I know it's Dumas. I had a friend with the same last name. It's Dumas. Or when I got really cheeky, I just call him a dumbass. No spoilers. Let's see. It's so different. Oh God, John, don't bring that up. No, thank you. So different when like Street's not in here, and like Troy and Trusted. Like, where is Trusted? I feel like Trusted was on Troy's for a while. He's probably tapped out or something. I was really interested to talk more about Lumeria and the Land of Mu, but I haven't gone that deep in the rabbit hole yet. But I think those videos that Terry Carter have been posting are really interesting. And I actually started to go down the rabbit hole for that Knights Templar obelisk or something. It started because that guy was in one of the hotels in Santa Fe, and he recognized the photos, and he was like, that's not something that is just part of New Mexico. It's like Knights Templar. And so he found out that there was this one family who owned the surrounding area with the forest. And that's how it got from there to the hotel. But then there's more of them. There's one in California. There's another one hidden somewhere in New Mexico. This person wrote about, but they won't reveal where it is. And then there was another one, I think it was Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. They're just like everywhere. And this person did a really good job explaining some of the symbolic representation that was carved into that obelisk. So that's another really cool rabbit hole to go down, but it gets a little intense where I just don't want to think about it too much. I'm more so gravitating towards the troubadour riddle, if anything. And I did find out that there was this queen called Queen Hedwig of Poland, and that's actually what all of this is in association with. And that's what I was talking about on Thursday. I started a random speakeasy on Discord, and I was sharing some of that. And it turns out there was a reliquary chest that is from the same artist as the one that is depicted at Fens, and it's sold for $1.5 million. And it's really old. It's 14th century. The artist is actually MS. And I slowly started to connect that a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh. And so if you try and figure out who the artist MS is, you're never going to figure it out. It's a huge mystery. No one knows who the artist is, but that is the artist who did Fenn's motif of Sage on the Attack of the Castle of Love, or what you would know it as is Attack on the Castle of the Church by the World. And there's different allegories, but it's mainly centered around Queen Hedwig of Poland. And it gets so interesting because once you have that little piece to start inserting into the other allegorical motifs or whatever, it unlocks way more information. Because before, if you only use Roger Sherman Loomis, or you looked at Attack on the Castle of Love, or you try to compare the Detroit Museum reliquary chest, you don't get as much. But when you put in certain keywords with Hedwig, it starts to unlock so much more. And so every time I think I figured out what I need to figure out about that thing, it keeps going deeper and deeper. Prime example, did you know the very I don't know if Fenn's chest is actually a replica or if he has the original too, but wherever the original is, which I think Fenn might have, The original one was actually once owned by, oh my God, what's her name? Oh my gosh. Catherine of Aragon. There we go. Catherine of Aragon. Um, King Henry VIII, Catherine of Aragon. It was, yeah, because King Henry VIII gave it to Catherine of Aragon, and it eventually trickled down to what's her name of Aquitaine, and it actually goes to because Hedwig was Hedwig of Anjou, Anjou, and then it's also associated with Aquitaine and, or I think it's Aquitaine or Aquitaine, and then other areas of like Poland, Germany, those areas right there. That's where all the troubadour uh, information is centered too. So I've been working really, really fucking late and really hard for work lately. So I don't have as much time to go down rabbit holes. And when I do have time to do something, I'm on here hanging out with you guys. So I don't know. Maybe I should just break that pattern. Maybe I should just start doing shit for myself, like trying to fix these fucked up eyebrows for one. Um, hold on. I don't even know what's going on. Okay. I think my thing just froze. What happened? Did my whole thing just freeze? I don't know what happened. Hold on. Do. Seeing what's happening in Discord too. Hmm. I don't even know what's going on in Discord at this point. Haley, what's going on in Discord? I have a book called Ancient Peoples, 1915. It was my great grandmother's. It goes deep. Ooh, that sounds fascinating. Do you have the name of the writer? Hi, Lorraine. That's interesting. Dude, where is Trusted and Street and Troy and all them? It's weird. There's also the book that Trusted talks about a lot, the Adam and Eve book. It's so fascinating that the CIA like censored it for the longest time. And what I didn't know is the Adam and Eve book is actually about the polar shifts and how it's gonna like rip apart fucking universe and shit. And they're claiming, I think today's the 6th, right? So it was, no, today's not the 6th. Tuesday is the 7th. So today's like what, the 3rd, 4th? Today's the 4th. Okay. So there's like professionals and shit saying that there can be a fucking massive earthquake in California on the West Coast by the 7th, like sometime between now and the 7th. And I'm like, I could see the world ending while I'm single, lost, confused, sad, not knowing what the fuck I'm doing with my life. Yeah, sounds about right. I'm here listening in the dark. Oh, hey, Trusted. The Gambler outlines the ancient history. That's kind of cool. I like stuff like that. Ultimate mysteries. That's why I like going to you know, antique shops and different things like that to discover ancient mysteries that have been lost. Some guy named Hunter is coming out with a book about a big guy. It should be a thriller. Wait, what? I don't even know what that means. Why in the dark, Trusted? Probably because it's late and he's tired. I'm still in the kitchen upstairs. I'm sipping on the last of this coffee, and then I gotta put my spaghetti that I made earlier into Tupperware. I'm gonna try and find the energy to try and do something to my eyebrows, but I honestly don't know if there's any help for them. sometimes I'm like, okay, I could pluck them, I could try to do this, but they're nothing what they used to look like. They used to look great. And now there's just so many trends. Living in California can be pretty detrimental to your health just because, or your mental health, just because it's like, if you can't keep up with the trends, you feel like you look awful. And now that I saw a video yesterday on TikTok saying, like, if you block out your eyebrows with one color and you don't do this, 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 and this, it's the wrong way to do your eyebrows. I'm like, okay, I agree. Lately, I've been hating my eyebrows like uncontrollably. Tis a great day here. That's good, Davy. Relaxing, laying down. Yeah, it's pretty cold. Again, I'm so tired of these like super harsh winters right now. It's insane. I'm like thinking, yeah, I think I'm gonna save up and I might just move to Arizona. Cause like every time I try to go out and be social, it's just like the same people, same bullshit. It's just boring. What's the word on the Perry Stone treasure hunt? Is it legit? What's the Perry Stone? Oh, the religious one? I'm not sure. I am kind of intrigued by it. Hey, Street. The mouth of Mammoth Cave, and I must enter it. Wish me luck. Wait a minute. Are you gonna go wrestle a bear right now and not tell us? I swear to you, Street, if you are fucking chronically ill and right now is the last of your time on Earth and you're gonna go out fucking wrestling a bear like you told us you would, I'm gonna kick your ass. For one, it's the winter time. So therefore, the bears, they might be hibernating, but what I didn't know about hibernation is that when a bear hibernates, it doesn't mean that they're fucking eternally sleeping for months. It means that they go to sleep and then they wake up and they still fucking eat you. So hibernation time is actually worse than after hibernation. So if you are going into a mammoth cave to find a bear, no. Which I think that's what's happening. I think there's something going on with Street that he won't tell us. And this little excursion he's on is actually the end of it. It's like Hollywood. Let me die in peace, woman. He's pissed off. I figured out his fucking real reason for doing his excursion. I'm gonna put the link in chat. You better fucking join it. Hold on. The audacity of some people. The audacity. Okay. Yeah. Caves in Kentucky. Mammoth Cave. Huh. I didn't know it was Kentucky. I'm pretty sure there's Mammoth Mountain, and that's like California or some shit. Did you bring coffee rolls? Coffee rolls? Oh my god, that's funny. Coffee rolls. Game over. Game over is me trying to fucking function as a human being, especially when it's so cold. I don't know about you guys, but I get super lethargic when it's really cold. I'm like wearing an oversized sweatshirt and then some sweats and some like footy socks, trying to stay warm. So nobody's looking at the Perry Stone hunt. I was entertaining it, Sled. It's it looks like it's a Christian based treasure hunt. I'm at Dust Store Candy. Do you think I have the strength to hit the link? Yeah, you do. Hit the link. Damn you, Street. Hit it. Hit the link. Entertain the masses before you go out. Give us a message, okay? Give us like some type of philosophical fucking lesson before you go out. Come on, Street. Let's do it. Let me see. Are you even trying to? Are you trying? The audacity. You're not even trying to get in right now. How rude. I'm trying to fucking change my whole mindset. It's really hard. It's a little hypocritical right now too, because I'm sitting here drinking out of my favorite cup. And it's actually a quote from Tolkien. Or no, actually, it wasn't. It's not Tolkien. Is it Tolkien? No, this is Robert Frost. But it's for Lord of the Rings. Not all those who wander are lost. It's I don't think that's Tolkien. I think that's Robert Frost. Oh my gosh, let me verify that again. Robert Frost, not all. Yeah. Pretty sure it's Robert Frost. Let's see. Oh shit, it was Tolkien. What is wrong with me? There's something wrong with me today if I can't even remember Tolkien. I said it originally, but then I second guessed myself. Go me. Okay, so we're trying to get a connection. We've got. What's up, Street?
What's happening?
What are you pissing off bears for? It's too early for that shit.
I'm not heading to no bear. I don't. Everyone's dying. We're all dying. I mean, come on. We're all going to die eventually. I hope it's not tomorrow, but you got me dying like tomorrow.
I mean, I feel like you're knocking on death's door a lot fucking faster than we are over here because you're in Ohio and you guys have that whole fucking train derailment poisoning shit going in the atmosphere.
Well, let's not forget I'm 60 years old and I didn't take the best of care of myself and I indulged in probably things I shouldn't have indulged in through the years. So yeah, I will die before you and it's inevitable. Here's my theory, Candy. Why fear it? Why question why beat yourself up your entire life thinking you're going to, if you don't do what's expected of you by some invisible person, that you're going to rot in a burning hell forever? Just do what you got to do. We all came from energy source. That's what that's where we're going to end up. It's inevitable. You can't change that.
Well, you better go and get yourself a fucking cottonwood tree before you go out so you can snap it and go chill up there in the stars. I think that's one of the coolest like folklore stories about the cottonwood tree is, you have to snap the stick to release the star into the night sky.
Yeah.
So what are you up to?
I don't know.
You almost said research.
A walkabout.
Are you going on a pilgrimage?
Yeah, a walkabout. Sure. Isn't that what life is? Isn't our entire life from birth to death, every step is closer to the end. And everyone's scared of it. Why are we scared of it? It's where we began.
It's the unknown.
Home. No, it's not. We're going home. That's the only place we can go.
Well, but that's the thing though. Like, we don't remember that place. So it's unfamiliar to us until we're walking and knocking on that door. So leading up to that very last moment, then yeah, it's home again. But before that, it's something that's unfamiliar, unknown. And a lot of people are afraid of the unknown. It's something that puts them out of their comfort zone.
But that's my point. It's not the unknown. It's right where we started. Do you think this creature was born in flesh and the energy, the soul, the essence of it just showed up out of the blue with this creature? No. It's ordained by the stars. You have to go back where you started. Your body goes ashes, ashes, dust to dust, but your soul, your essence, your energy, it's going to go exactly where it began, home. T.S. Eliot.
It just trips me out that like even though we are like skin and bones and blood, it doesn't really consist of what we truly are, because what we truly are is a soul. But it's like, what is the soul? What is the spirit?
Well, let's add the confusion of the human condition. Our life, think about it, our life from birth until we return back to where we were, energy and source and all that, is nothing but feelings, a continuing barrage of feelings, good, bad, and ugly. That's all life. If you break it down to the essence, Candy, in my opinion, it's feelings. That's what life consists of, fucking feelings.
Yeah, that's so true. And it sucks because there's a lot of people, like myself, for instance, that are highly susceptible to feelings. And when we feel too much. We feel too much love, too much hate. It's just so maximized. Like we can't meet in the middle. We're always just so extreme. And those emotions can cloud our judgment. So it's like one of our greatest assets and also one of our worst.
Well, ironically, you're battling yourself the entire time and not even, and I'm not like degrading anyone. It's the human condition. We all suffer until you get to a point where you stop and go out into a pine forest and lean against a tree. You'll find out what life is about. You'll find out yourself. And I think that's what Forrest is trying to say. Find yourself. That's why he wanted everyone to go out into the Rocky Mountains, get lost, not get hurt, not do stupid shit, but get lost in yourself, in
My
nature.
mom used to hug trees, and I used to think it was the weirdest thing, but now I understand why.
They feel, if I can talk to my house plants, and I know by science that they react to my carbon monoxide or whatever, plus my good humor and like, hey, how you guys doing today? Good to see. Oh, look at you popping up a new row. Oh my God, you got a leaf. Oh shit. They enjoy that shit. They really do. Plus,
You know what's freaky
enjoy.
though? Scientists just discovered they like really zoomed in to leaves and things, and it shows like little fucking mouths that like open and close for breathing. And I don't think I'll ever be able to eat a salad after this. Like, is that fucking like messed up or what?
What?
Like, you
So
think about it, you're like
well,
sitting and having conversation and trying to nurture a plant, right? You're like, it's like a fucking living organism. Yet we're gonna eat them at the same time. Just like we do with fucking animals. Like, how fucking ruined are we?
well, you just set the vegan community into an uproar. They're like, what the fuck can we eat? Dirt? You guys can eat dirt. You're dirt. Instead of vegan, you're dirted and dirty.
Nope. They gotta
Eat
do just like Nikola Tesla. Remember? Only milk and honey. I think that's what he like, milk, honey, and sunlight. That's what he right before he died, he was living off of. It was just like, I think, milk and honey and then sunlight. That's what he said.
Seeing the later pictures of him, it didn't look like a healthy diet to me. I'm sorry. I respect Tesla's opinions and shit, but I think his diet sucked, man. He looked pretty bad. He did.
Well, so this is the thing. There is, I forgot where it stems from, but there's a belief that in order for us to actually progress to where we need to be, we need to not eat or drink anything. Like the whole point of feeding ourselves and indulging in food and all these other things is what's preventing us from progressing into our spiritual ascension or whatever. And they say that food is like our anchor and keeping us here. So if we were to not do that, then we would be able to ascend. But that sounds fucking crazy, right? It's like, where does this shit come from?
Well, if it wasn't for consumption and feelings, we wouldn't have life, would we? It goes right back to the feelings. Consumption. Consumption is a feeling.
Fucking feelings.
Feelings. Whoa, 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 feelings.
I'm gonna turn my humanity off like they did in the Vampire Diaries, and then I'll be good. That's what they do. Like they turn into vampires and they don't want to feel, so they turn their humanity off. But once they do that, they turn into like fucking murderers and they have no compassion for anything.
Well, empathy is a human characteristic. I don't think, yeah, it's a human characteristic, empathy, a human condition. I think it's beneficial to us to have empathy onto others, but at the same time, there comes a boundary. And we know the thrill of the chase, boundaries. There's a boundary where empathy.
Is there boundaries? Because I don't think this community understands what the fucking definition of boundaries means.
Well,
Frank in general is the prime definition of not understanding fucking boundaries.
I can have empathy for someone, and at the same time, they made their own bed. I mean, I never put them in that position. I'm not them, but I feel sorry for them. But does it mean I like them? No, not at all. I think they're horrible human beings. But I show empathy. I have empathy for them. You know, I feel sorry for them that they don't get it. They don't see the big picture, and they're wasting their time and everyone else's around them.
It's just sad though. It's funny too, because like every time we go live and hang out, we always talk about like such a deep philosophical, life-moving, life-changing like moments. It's just, it trips me out sometimes. It's like you can't find that anywhere else, especially with this generation. Like they don't talk about shit like that. They're afraid to talk about deep, like mind-boggling, life-changing thoughts.
Well, the first step to do that, if anyone's interested, is make a safe zone. In other words, no matter what you say or what I say, we're going to laugh and make fun of each other and fucking throw rude comments, but we still progress on with the conversation. Right or wrong, it doesn't matter, as long as the conversation's happening. And, you know, isn't that what research does? It bounces around a bunch of fucking ideas that's wrong until they find something that fits, like a puzzle.
Yeah, that's true. That is quite accurate.
People, damn it, get on the fucking page. Get on the puzzle, damn it.
I'm too busy going down the troubadour puzzle. Damn it. I'm not a normal person anymore. I need to like
stop and think about. I understand. I'm not making light of anything, but I understand the human condition, and that's a broad range. Depression, self-esteem, anxiety. The list goes on and on. But think about it. All it is a bunch of feelings. How you interpret them, how you envelop them into you, what you have to bring them in. They're not like knocking on the door saying, "Hey, I'm coming in." No, you have to let them in. It's how you interpret what you let in. I think that's the big disconnect in people, man.
Well, that's also why whenever, like, especially someone who's empathetic, right? They continuously make themselves a target for certain people that are going to gaslight them. They're narcissistic. They have that abusive type of relationship because they are not going to, you know, they don't know what's happening. And so when you finally break away from someone that's narcissistic and gaslighting you, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to gravitate other people like that. And that's why it's continuously a cycle, because your emotions and your mindset attract those type of people who are trying to take advantage of you. And I'm like, that's a huge reason for me for why I keep getting myself in these fucked up situations, because I keep gravitating towards people that are really bad for me. And I'm like,
well, now hold on, Candy. Now you have to ask yourself, why do you gravitate towards that? What niche are they filling in your human condition that makes you feel comfortable with that? That's where, and we're not going to discuss it now. That's something you have to do on your own. Think about why think of all from the beginning of relationships, think of what attracted you to it. And then that's where you need to concentrate your thoughts at. Why am I?
This is what's different though, because I mean, everyone knows DJ was pretty much my very first real serious relationship. And it went on for 16 years. So when I met him, I was a kid. I didn't know shit. And so I didn't know what to look for to be able to live that dream, to progress and, think of myself as growing and doing better. And it's not until now, I'm 34, that I'm starting to finally fucking realize what is happening and what's going on. But back then, I didn't know certain characteristics that you were supposed to look for in a partner. I didn't know the way you were supposed to be treated and being respected. Because my mom, she's never really had a relationship around me. Like, she never dated when I was a kid or anything. And so it wasn't until when I was like 22 or something that she finally went off. She spent a fuck ton of money getting plastic surgery and dating a bunch of guys and dating guys that were like fucking 30 at the time. And I was just traumatized from that shit. I'm like, the fuck are you doing? So I never had examples of what you were supposed to, how someone was supposed to treat you. And even my own mom, sometimes she wouldn't treat me okay either. And it wasn't like she was trying to purposely do it. It was just like, I would show up somewhere and I would just be really sad. And she'd be like, oh God, you look horrible. You didn't put any effort into how you look. Oh, you have no fashion sense. And like, I remember one time I had a huge crush on this guy. He worked at California Pizza Kitchen. He was really cute. And I was always nervous. I didn't want to be around him by myself. So I was like, I always have to have a crutch, right? If I have a crush on someone, I always have to have a crutch for someone to go with me to help support me. And I was like, Mom, there's this new place that opened up in town, California Pizza Kitchen. They have really good food. Like, let's go. So she went there and she saw him. And every time I would try and flirt, she would like ruin it. And like one time he was like, hey, I really like your outfit. You look good today. And I went to say thank you. She's like, thanks. I actually dressed her. And I was like, I look at him, he looks at me and I'm like mortified. I'm like, no, she didn't actually dress me. Like she took me shopping and pointed some cute stuff out for me. And she's like, no, I dressed her. I'm like, this is mortifying. And then she would do the most fucked up shit where she would just tell him things that were absolutely mortifying for him to know about. And I was just like, okay, well, this ship has fucking sailed. But it's just like, I never had an example of how to actually be treated. Even with DJ, like sometimes he would treat me okay. Sometimes he could be an absolute dream, but for the most part, it fucking sucked. So it's just like, how was I ever supposed to know what to go after when I was so young and I had no actual, nothing to try and build off of, no examples.
Okay, first off, and this is my opinion, your mom had self-esteem issues for whatever reason. We don't need to talk about that, but she mirrored it on down to you and tried to make you not what she feared. And there comes a point where you have to stop and it's about you. Everyone thinks with low self-esteem, they have to impress someone for whatever reason in their life. They were let down by main figures in their life. They were let down for whatever reason. The self-esteem comes in. It has to start with you. Like, I'm not a particular Michael Jackson fan of his music. I like a few of his songs, like other artists, a handful of his songs. The Man in the Mirror. The Man in the Mirror. It starts with you. Everything. Think about this. Our entire world is enveloped into our brains through our eyes, ears, and senses. Our six senses is what our brain relates to the world we're in, the realm we're in. We are in control of it. Think how simple. It's so fucking simple. It's so simple. You are all of us. We're in control of how we swallow the world around us, how we ingest it. So if you have no basis, and I sympathize with you, I did that in the 70s. You're telling Candy the life you're saying is what I had. I had no supervision. At the age of 11, I was on my own. I had older brothers, but it's not that my parents didn't care. They were busy with fighting their own demons. So I was left on my own, and I'm thankful for it. I'm the person I am. I learned valuable lessons at a young fucking age, and I had 3 older brothers to teach me it. So I had an upper hand, and I felt I still feel fortunate for that. But you have to fall on your fucking face until you realize the world's not, the world is what you are. If whatever your mindset is the world you're going to interact with. Damn, I need a beer, man. I'm starting to tear up. I got to pop out from it. Oh, I think there's a grizzly outside the van. I'll be right back.
Oh, don't you dare. Oh, it's funny. But yeah, no, I get that. Street needs a beer. I have another martini that I could pour, but I don't know if I should have it. And like, I'm realizing that I continuously always have a crutch. Prime example, being invited to go to New Mexico in May and potentially being able to talk to Shiloh and saying hi. The first thing I'm doing is, hey, I want to invite Ashley. Hey, I want to invite someone else to go with me. Because I mentally, I always try to find someone to lean on. When I went to Vegas, I invited my friend Daniel. And it wasn't until I got there that I was like, I realized I fucking hate men. I just hate men right now. Like, I don't want to deal with feelings and shit like that. But I'm always finding a crutch. Last year, when I went to WSOF, I invited Mindy and I was really happy I hung out with her. But then I invited DJ's sister. I didn't need to do that. I didn't need to invite her to Scotland either. I'm always like too afraid to do something on my own. I'm always looking for someone to hold my hand. And I'm like petrified of flying. And it was only one time that I actually did the shit on my own. And I was just at a mental, like my mental capacity absolutely broke because my cousin announced that her and her boyfriend for a very long time were going to have a baby. Like she was about to become a mother. And I was looking at all my family members, all my cousins that I grew up with were all married. They were all having kids. They were all making their own lives. And I'm like being forced to self-reflect. And I realized that ever since I've been a kid, I have dedicated all this time and devotion and energy into one man. And it's like, I've been frozen in time. I've been stuck. I don't have any of that. I don't have anything to prove or to reflect on my time with this person. I don't have a family. I don't have a title for being married. I gave up all the things that I wanted for myself, all to make him happy. And I looked at myself and everything around me for a second and I snapped. And so the first thing I decided to do is go to the Fen finale. Because, Cynthia was messaging me and Matt Smelled Sunshine. They were saying, like, you have to be here. You have to be here. Like, make it happen. And so I did, even though DJ's like, there's no fucking way I'm going. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go by myself. And I actually did it. I did the airport by myself. I showed up. I did all of it by myself. And it actually felt really good. I had a lot of fun. It was a great memory before shit went south. But aside from that, I'm always fucking looking for someone to rely on or to hold my hand. And it's been like that ever since I was a kid. And it took me so long to realize, like, my mom, she was kind of narcissistic and like gaslit me too, to the point I was like so traumatized for driving that even though I had a car, I had a license, I had people drive me around my own car for years. It wasn't until we moved to Riverside and I was forced to work out in Irvine from Riverside that I literally started driving back and forth on the freeways from work to home, but I would never go outside of it. And even now, I'm really not comfortable going outside of my comfort zone. That's why I don't really volunteer to drive to Vegas, because that just sounds like a shit show. It's like a nightmare. And the whole Arizona thing, like Ashley is only a couple hours away. I could drive out and hang out with her and everything, but I don't, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm mentally prepared to do that yet. And I'm like, I need to just fucking rip the whole Band-Aid off and just see what happens on my own by myself. And even though I'm like technically by myself now, I'm not. I have a roommate and it's still trying to find a crutch to lean on. And I feel like if I finally just rip the Band-Aid off, I move to Arizona, maybe things will change, because I'm always looking for someone to rely on and I'm so tired of it.
Well, the fact that you took the time to realize where you began, where you're at, and what got you there. What's the universe trying to tell you? What did you learn, and what's your next step?
I mean, what I learned is I can't rely on everyone to put me down the path that I need to be down. I have to do that on my own.
So, in other words, you don't need anyone to rely. You can rely on yourself, can't you?
I'm supposed to. It's just mentally I'm trying to be able to break the habit of always being so afraid. Like I don't even want to go out by myself. It's like I'm always calling one of my friends being like, "Hey, you want to hang out and do something?" Because I feel like if I'm seen out in public alone, then I'm a loser. Being single to me is like I'm a loser. And it shouldn't be seen that way. It shouldn't be perceived that way. It should be perceived as I'm a strong, badass, independent person who got herself out of a really fucked up toxic situation. And now I should use that experience to not ever have to go through it again. And I should be able to know what I want and what I should do to get what I want. But instead, I'm retreating, I'm avoiding, and I'm doing the same thing that I always do. I'm trying to find a crutch to rely on instead of just figuring shit out on my own.
I'll relate back to what I said earlier. Do you think you're a loser when you're walking around enjoying life by yourself? Do you think you're a loser? Yes or no?
Yeah, because of the type of society that I'm in,
Nope, nope,
especially
nope,
for
nope,
California.
nope. It's an easy yes or no answer. Do you feel when you're walking around, do you feel in your heart you're a loser, or do you think that's what people think of you?
I feel like the anxiety is making me think that's what people think of me.
Well, no, the fact that you believe that's what people think of you gives you anxiety that it's you could walk any street in the world. What the you're just as valid as any what makes any other human on this fucking planet any better than fucking you? Honestly, think about that for a second. We're all
Yeah,
in this
in this
together. We're
struggle.
all lost. We're all fucking just stumbling around trying to find our way in feelings. That's where we all are. It's actually a comedy. It's a fucking comedy.
Well, like this is the thing. I know it's how we all like. It's not. So when I was with DJ, I could go anywhere alone, and it never dawned on me that people were judging me for being alone because it's like in my mind I was secure. I knew I had a boyfriend, and if something bad were to happen, I could rely on him. And now it's like I don't have that crutch, I don't have that relationship, so I'm internally fighting this battle and thinking people are like judging me, looking at me like I'm pathetic because I'm 34, I'm not married, I don't have kids, I don't have, social status. It's always about social status. And I fucking hate social status. Whoever invented that, I fucking hate them because you shouldn't be you shouldn't be judged based on if you're married or if you have a house or if you have kids, like, or what your job is. You shouldn't be judged by that. Yet that is exactly what we judge everyone on through society is how much money you make, what you've been doing with your life. I mean, I'm a fucking recruiter. What I have to do is judge people based on their work history. If you've got gaps in your work history, you got to explain to me why you have gaps in work history. And if it's not sufficient enough, I can't move you forward to get you hired. And I think that's absolutely fucked. It's just society is just so shit.
Candy, in my honest opinion, and this is just my opinion, the universe is smacking the fuck out of you, telling you you do not need no one but yourself. You are you. How can anyone, you are you. How can anyone judge that? Why would you let them? If you're secure in the trust me on this, the universe is smacking the shit out of you.
If it's not smacking the shit out of me, I start smacking the shit out of me.
Open your eyes. You need no one but yourself. You think you do. That's your crutch. You think you need someone else. You don't. You is all you need.
You know what's funny? I was talking to Ashley earlier today, like for a couple of hours. We were talking about like a bunch of stuff. And I was telling her, I'm like, I don't know if I have the mental capacity to be able to have this type of life that I want to give myself. Like, she was telling me like, yeah, you should, if you really want to, you should move to Arizona. And I'm like, oh, my dream is to be like Ginny and Georgia, this main character from this TV show, where she moves to a brand new state, completely starts over, and because no one knows her, she's allowed and able to build that dream life for herself. And I'm like, I don't know if mentally I can do that. And she's like, are you sure? And then I thought about it. I'm like, no, when I really want something, I make that shit happen. Every single time I've ever really, truly, down to the deep core of my soul wanted something, I have always made that happen. And it's like nowadays I feel like I have the mental capacity to do it and the potential to do it, but I'm lazy. And I'm like, do I really want it type thing? It's not I want it more than life type thing. And that's what I should be thinking about. I should be thinking, I want to make my life my dream life, yet I'm only half-assing it.
Okay, my response to that is the concept of wanting to, and we've all had it, I'm sure, the concept of wanting to move to someplace where no one knows you. In other words, boom, all the illusions as you think other people think of you is gone, and you can be whoever you want. And now I'm not making light of it. This is the human condition.
Yeah.
Okay, can you create that same atmosphere where you're at? Yes, you can, I'd argue.
No, because everyone who have ever grown up with is in this is my hometown. Everyone knows who I am. I have so much fucking reputation, and whether good or bad, always following me because of all the mean girls I had to deal with in high school, the mean girls I still have to deal with in life because of the whole fact that I was with DJ for so long. Like, I feel like I don't really have a chance to start over and give myself the life that I want if I'm going to stay fucking here in my hometown. Like, I feel like
Okay,
my hometown
well,
is
let's
just
let's switch
toxic
gears
fucking environment.
then. Let's switch gears then. And have you ever considered the old Amish of Pennsylvania? It's a good
Fuck no.
hard life.
No. No. I always used to tell DJ when he would get pissed off about me dressing up or anything. He'd be like, oh, you're too revealing, you're too scandalous. I'd be like, go marry an Amish bitch. Like, that's not me. That's the fucking complete opposite of me. Go marry an Amish bitch. So, no, even though my last name's Hershey, I do not want to move to Pennsylvania. Like, no, thank you. There's
Uh,
certain places that I don't think I'd ever fucking go to.
Move then. Move. If that's what you need and you feel it in your gut, it's that gut feeling, that you can argue it and debate it all you want, but your initial thing was the gut. Shit, I got to do it.
Yeah.
What do you have to lose? Honestly, what do you have to freaking lose?
I mean, at this point, nothing.
Oh, are we all chasing happiness, the rainbow, the pot of gold? We're all chasing hope, happiness. Happiness is a pot. We're all fucking chasing it. That's the
Yeah, but
that's
you know what's so fucked
the
up?
game of life.
Being oblivious, I was happy. When I was oblivious to so much back then and I was so ignorant, I truly thought I was happy. But then after literally going through the spiritual awakening, because I was on death's door. I don't care if people say, oh, you're being dramatic, blah, blah. No, I was literally knocking on death's door. And after that, that is when I realized my whole life is a lie. My relationship is a lie. The shit I've been doing to myself and these so-called fucking dreams that weren't even mine were a lie. It was like a huge spiritual awakening where it's just like, it's going to be scary, but I need to just be on my own because all of this misery and the depression, and it was all because I was allowing it to happen. I wasn't putting boundaries up. I wasn't respecting myself. I was just completely given up. I was completely given up with people I surrounded myself with, my relationship, even my family sometimes. I just completely gave up. So now I'm trying not to give up. At least I've got like that fighting, I'm fighting a little bit, but it's just shit. Sometimes it gets really fucking hard.
Hello, young lady.
Hey, Trusted.
I was just looking at your chart.
What's it say in the stars for me?
No, not on the stars. The Enneagram of personality that I talked about before, where I identified your basic personality is number 9, which is the peacemaker.
Yeah.
Under stress, right? Tell me if this sounds right. Under stress, especially in your particular situation that you've just been going through. Loss, fragmentation, and separation.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Now, as that goes on for a period of time, right? What happens is you naturally go towards personality number 6, which is one of your wings, because everybody has 2 wings. One they go towards under stress, one they go towards under I forget what word they use, but security. So anyhow, under stress, you go to number 6. Where's number 6? Number 6. It's hard to navigate it with other stuff here. To have support and guidance. And then as the stress continued on, going into number 3, which is where you are today. Let me see. Basic fear of worthlessness with a basic desire to feel valuable. If the stress continues, you will go back towards number 9 and repeat the cycle, or security, you'll go back towards number 6 in a positive sense. So number 6, the positive sense. Number 6. You'll feel secure, you'll have security, and you'll still have your basic desire to have support and guidance. So you'll want to have support and guidance, but you'll have security. You'll feel secure. You'll be in a better place.
That is literally my whole relationship with DJ. Like, it got to the point later on where it's like every time he dumped me, said horrible things about me, made me question my self-worth, I knew he wasn't the one for me, yet I still stayed because he was this responsible adult. He was the one that did the benefits. He was the one that paid the bills. He was the one that did grocery shopping and got the toilet paper, crap like that. But it's like, it's not like I'm not capable of doing that. I just literally gave up and shut down. And so, yeah, you're right. When I'm in a bind, I will revert back to personality 6, and it's just fucked up.
Yep, but you're gonna tend to be within those 3 personalities. That doesn't mean you can't be into the other ones. It's just that's your go-to, your basic nature of those 3. Your basic one and your 2 wings. But you want to get into the positive. You want to get into the secure side of things. I actually think if you were to find a place, it would definitely be a good idea to move away from this environment that you're talking about. Is so familiar and not in a positive sense. It's familiar in a negative sense in the whole scheme of things. But even a smaller place, a town instead of a city.
I still think I need the city. I like the city when I'm not in a fucking self-sabotaging mindset, because that's another thing that I do. I self-sabotage myself a lot.
I hope you know, Candy, Trusted and I's bill is being mailed out. You are legally responsible for paying for our advice.
Wait a second. All I want to know, did you bring the coffee rolls?
What's a good lynching without coffee rolls, man? Come on.
No, coffee rolls. You know, if you're gonna go fight the bear, right? Bears love coffee rolls. If you feel low on blood sugar and you're feeling tired, coffee rolls is the answer.
See, Trusted. I've been saying it for a while. I think something's up the street. He's not telling us, because if he's out there right now camping, looking for a fucking bear to wrestle, that means he's ready to go out. He's ready to die.
He's not looking for a bear to wrestle.
Yeah, man. I got a year or 2 or 3 left in me. Goddamn, come on. No.
So are you just trying to scope out the competition?
No, I'm just I'm doing a walkabout, man. It's been a long, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I've been at this since January of 2016 when I first came across it. And I won't say I devoted my life, but I devoted a vast majority of my thoughts and my daily routines in my thoughts to this. It's been a labor of love. I'm taking a walkabout, man. I think, yeah, I need to catch my breath for the epicness.
All the epicness. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say to that.
Coffee rolls. Coffee rolls.
Coffee rolls.
Coffee rolls is the answer for everything.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Come on, has this not been the greatest adventure we've all taken, man? Honestly, reflect back. There's 3 of us now, me, Candy, Trusted. Is this will this go down in your memory as an epic time frame, no matter how long you've been in it? Is it epicness in your mind that you participated in this fucking bastard adventure it had no bounds? There was no bounds. It was up to you. You could take it wherever you freaking wanted to. Had no boundaries. None.
Yeah, but it's kind of crazy when you think about it.
You guys honestly say you haven't enjoyed the good, bad, and ugly of this adventure? We're still here.
I mean, there's some stuff I enjoyed. I mean, it's funny because when remember back when I had my friend Ryan over and he was talking about like all the stuff I do and what I'm into? The way he described me, I do not see myself like that. But he was saying like she's intelligent, she could talk about all these things, she researches, she finds stuff. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, I don't see myself like that. Yet there's countless other people in the community that have continuously said the same things that he has said. But I'm like, I can't see that. I don't see that about myself. And it's just so crazy how this community, like this treasure hunt, it was supposed to be just a treasure hunt. And it probably would have just been a treasure hunt for me if I never actually got in contact with Fen. Because I feel like the whole point why it means so much to people and why people are still in this community is because Fen had such a personal relationship with each one of us. Whether he said hello or anything, it was like he always had some type of connection with us. And that is why the chase was so amazing. And I don't know what it is. It's like, first I become friends with the treasure hunt creator. And then I finally get the courage to make my own channel and I get a chance to show what I'm passionate about and how I'm passionate about research and figuring things out. And then I learn about etymology and that becomes like one of my best strong suits. And then from there, I start to realize, hey, I'm really good at treasure hunts and stuff like that. And talking to people about their emotions and the psychology of different scenarios in the chase community or in life. And then I start realizing I have a passion to talk about deep spiritual, thought-provoking scenarios too. And it never would have been like that. I would have still been with DJ, probably married to him, miserable as fuck, never being able to know what I'm truly capable of and what my potential was. And even
Well,
though this community is also the reason why my life got fucking uprooted and completely turned upside down, I mean, technically, in a way, it kind of saved me at the same time.
the bottom line, you learned yourself. We all did. We learned something about ourselves in this chase. If you took it wholeheartedly, we all learned something about ourselves that we didn't know previous. Good, bad, or ugly, we learned a lot.
Yep, that's for sure. 100%. And I know it's really funny though when people are like, I get judged all the time, for going online all the time, like going live and just hanging out with like you and Trusted and Troy and Rob. And like again, my emotions run really high or really low. And sometimes I'll like bite Troy's head off and say some fucking mean shit that I shouldn't say and I don't mean. But then we'll bounce back and be like, oh, it's really fine. And same thing with like you and I. We had that whole scenario happen. But it's like you guys are my favorite people to hang out with and talk about things with. Because when it's not the same when I'm like live and hanging out with other people. I'm not saying that they don't have the same mindset. It's just I feel more comfortable talking to you guys about the shit. Like you guys talk about the things that I'm interested in, the stuff that I research, the things that I can respond to. And it's just, I don't know, it's shit that I like to do.
Well, here's where I'll give you great props. You can hang with the fucking old dogs and we can dog the shit out of you and you'll hang right with us and not take it personal. And we're not talking sexist shit, but just hang with the personal insults and still show up the next time and you've earned your respect. With if you can earn respect with a bunch of salty old dogs, holy shit. The world is your fucking jewel. Go out and fucking enjoy yourself. If you can fucking stand with us, honestly, I think Trusted will back me up. If you can stand with Trusted and me and still hang and enjoy the next conversation we have because you know it's going to lead you someplace that you didn't expect, fuck. The world's a joke. It's your jewel. Have at it.
Damn. That makes me feel better.
Did I mention I'm eating mushrooms tonight? I'm at a mammoth cave like Da Vinci. I'm about ready to dive in this fucker on mushrooms, man. I'm prepared. I'm going to come out enlightened or wrestle the fucking grizzly. One of them. You'll see me on the news or something.
Oh no. Oh no. I don't get it. I know a lot of people like yourself, Ben, Ashley, and stuff. And they could do mushrooms or acid or whatever it is and be completely enlightened, right? They like you guys feel so enlightened and completely different when you were in comparison to when you're sober. But for me, it's the complete opposite. I feel so dumb and slow and I can't articulate the things that I want to articulate when I'm on something versus when I'm sober. Like I like to be sober. Like alcohol is okay. It's different. But anything else, I don't like who I am when I'm on like mushrooms or if I'm high or something because it just feels wrong to me. I feel not myself and I like to be myself. So I feel like the only reason I sound so intelligent is because I'm not on something.
I don't need to be on something, but it's like okay, if you want to meditate and reach nirvana, okay, study for 20 years and we'll show you how. Or guess what? I got this little bag of mushrooms. It'll fucking jumpstart your ass right to the front of the line. I'm like, fuck, give me those mushrooms. It's not about you. I'm comfortable with, and that's where bad trips come in. You have to be comfortable with who you are. You have to understand who you are. And I've joked about it. I'm God. We're all God. How can we not be God, for God's sakes? Okay, so we are it. We are it. How can you fuck that up? The problem is when you bring your baggage in from this illusion we live called reality, that's where people have bad times. If you go into it comfortable and secure with who you are and wanting an adventure, like a trade, I got a ticket. I eat this quarter ounce of fucking mushrooms. I got a fucking ticket on the lounge car. I'm going to be drinking drinks, looking out the windows. It's how you approach it. And okay, so if that's universal, I'll put that out there. If anyone that eats mushrooms with that intent and they get the same experience, a life-changing experience, there has to be something to it. In other words, where we are now is just an illusion of feelings. That's all we are. We came here into this dust to dust body with feelings. That's all we experience in this plane, in this limited time we have, is fucking feelings, and it's how we interpret them, and it's the human condition. If you interpret everything
that's why I love the most
joke,
powerful emotion of all.
well, if you interpret everything as a joke because you're comfortable in who you are, comfortable in your own skin, in other words, nothing. How can it bother you?
Yeah, no, I agree. I was at that mindset for a little bit where, I was so humiliated about my photos and shit and the bad reputation that was following me in the community. And instead of letting it just control and own me, I ended up
Stop
taking
right there.
control of
I have daughters. All due respect, Candy. Be proud of your titties. If you showed them, be fucking proud of them. Don't fucking be ashamed of it. You got titties. All right, you showed them. Be proud of them. Don't feel bad about them.
I mean, I'm starting to not anymore. Like, I'm starting to feel more confident in myself, but it's just like, I don't know. There's certain emotions that are still tied to this fucked up relationship that I'm trying to heal from. And every time I start to like really feel better and bounce back, he does something where it sets me back months. Like the whole New Year's Eve thing, that set me back months of healing just because of how traumatic everything was again. And so I want to be confident in myself, but then I look at myself and I think like, I gave him all my best years and now I'm 34. And if I want to look like someone who doesn't have a dent in our head, I have to go get injected with fucking Botox. And before I never really cared about that shit. And now it's kind of like I'm being forced to care. I gained weight because I'm depressed and I've just been fucking avoiding and not going anywhere and not being active. And so I just don't feel as confident in myself as I used to be. So it's different. It's just different.
Well, to lighten the mode, I have 5 daughters, and one of them brought it to my attention. They said, "Dad, did you know female breasts are not all the same?" And that got my attention. I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And they were like, "Yeah, they're all different sizes." I'm like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, no two's the same." I was like, "Oh shit." I think that's mind blowing. Wow. Never looked at it that way.
Want to know a funny fact? Okay. So women, their perfect color of lipstick to wear is actually the color of their nipple.
Thanks for that insight. I'll keep that in mind. I'll look at the women's lipstick in the If I see black lipstick, I'm running the other direction. Nah, man, I'm good.
I'm not saying every color they wear is the color of their nipple. I'm just saying the type of shade of lipstick that complements their complexion and makes them look alive, like lively, is the color of their nipple.
You just gave away a subliminal. You're going to get banned from the woman club for this. I hope you know this.
There's actually people on TikTok that do that. They're like, guys, do you want to know secrets to women? Then guys will do like, women, do you want to know the secrets to men? And like, it's so funny.
Well, I've said it many times. And women, you can't stop it. For men, this message is for men. If you're talking to a woman you're interested in, she seems interested in you, if her eyes are dilated, I'm talking big, her pupils get real big, the black part gets real big, she's into you. She's into you. And all you got to be nice to them, man. If they're into you and they're receptive, be nice. How easier is a relationship than just be nice. Be nice to each other.
Well, you know what's funny? So there's this girl the other day on TikTok, and she was saying like, oh, girls, do you want to know why men become so infatuated with girls who are ADD and like have lots of anxiety and stuff? It's not because of like certain traits or anything. It's because when they don't give us attention, we don't care. We're not even thinking about them. We're like off fucking wondering when we're going to do our dishes, or if a book that we've been waiting a month for is going to get released. And we don't care if the man took us on a date and then didn't respond for 4 days. We're not responding to them. And then they start to realize like, oh, they're ignoring me. And the whole concept of you want what you can't have kicks in. And they're like continuously wanting attention from you because you're not giving it to them. And I was cracking up. I'm like, fuck, that is so right. I have like the worst ADD on the planet. And I'm not really bothered at this time anymore about men and how they perceive me or if they take me out. Like that one guy I've been talking to off and on, he's like, oh, I really want to take you on a date like for yesterday. And I'm like, I've got deadlines to hit. I'll let you know if I'm free. And I never let him know because I'm like, I got told that. And instead of going out on a date, I stayed inside and then I went to bed early because I wanted to catch up on sleep. Like, I don't give a fuck if some man is wanting to take me out, because I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, is he going to text me back? What's going to happen? What does this mean? It's like, why do I fucking care at this point? It's funny. I just found it a little funny because there's some truth to what she said.
Well, truth be told, and I'll probably get kicked out of the man club from this, but men will fuck anything that stands still. Are you going to stand still for them? No, you got to move, dodge, weave. It's like if you could dodge a wrench, you can dodge a man.
Dodge a ball. That's funny.
Well, think of the world you live in. You have to uphold to something that's the family unit. The man's in charge, the king, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. No, you don't. You stand up to yourself.
Well, you want to know what makes everything so fun right now? Like, I'm getting a lot of shit in the community because I'm lucky enough to sometimes message with Shiloh. He'll like respond to me about certain questions and just goof off with me and stuff. And everyone's like, oh, Candy, are you flirting with Shiloh? And I'm like, yeah, actually I am. And I'm not interested in flirting with him because he's Chase Royalty and he's like Ben's grandson. I am interested in flirting with him because he is a really cute, attractive guy who's my age. And I think he's single. And so the funny thing with this all of those street is that I know he is so out of my league. And that's what makes it fun. Because there's nothing that's ever going to fucking come from it. So I could just be my weird fucking weirdo self and talk to him about the most random bullshit. And I don't even care if he responds or if he reacts to it. Because I'm like, it's never going to fucking happen. So it's just fun to just be like, oh, I'm going to get dolled up and get a drink. Because he was teasing me saying like, you're always saying you're going to have a 48K martini, but you never do. And that was on Thursday. And so finally I was like, okay, you know what? Challenge accepted. And so I got ready. I made the drink. And it was so funny because like his commentary on this, hold on, let me find it. It was so fucking funny. Where did it go?
Well, let me say this real quick. Are you worried about, have you looked at the fucking community, quote unquote? These motherfuckers are as crazy as a box of fucking rocks. What are you worried about what they fucking think of you? Honestly.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, here it is. He said, See, there you go again, promising that it'll happen at some point in the future. Sounds familiar because he kept talking about you keep threatening to make one and then you never actually do. So forgive me if I don't hold my breath. And so I was like, challenge accepted. And I was like, the community better appreciate the fact that I'm currently battling it out with some tweezers and eyeliner. Like, I'm saying the most stupid fucking shit to Shiloh. And I'm like, I don't even care, right? And then I had like, so the recipe he gave me was 6 parts gin, 1 part vermouth, and then you do some olive juice and garnish it with 2 olives. And so I added some edible gold dust glitter to it too for like, you know, the 48K martini. And I like I took a picture of it and I set it up right next to the Secrets of San Lazaro Pueblo book. And it was like really nice presentation. And he was like, very nicely done. I'm proud. It looks just like it's supposed to. And he's like, how was it everything? And I only had like 4 sips straight. And I started getting like fucked up. Like I started getting drunk. I'm not kidding. And it was a work night. So I had to stop because I'm like, if I drink this whole thing, I'm probably going to not show up for work and then I'll be fucked. So I stopped drinking it. But I like sent him in the morning. The next morning, I was like, this is how I recover from drinking on a work night. Tisk tisk. I'm secretly a swamp witch because it looked like fucking seaweed. This like green shit that I drink. And then what was really funny is he's like, you're a lightweight. Look what one little martini has done to you. Apparently you should stick with your bottomless mimosas. And I'm like, fucking touche. Oh God. It's so funny though. But it's cool because I had a chance to hang out and talk to Shiloh for a little bit. And when he told me, you know, make the martini, because you're always saying you're not like you're going to, but you never do. And so I got a little flirtatious and I was like, okay, challenge accepted, but you got to drink one with me. And so while I was getting ready and trying to make the drink, he sent me a picture of him somewhere in New Mexico and he ordered a martini too. So he was like, I'm drinking this martini. Where's yours? So it was fun. It was a little fun little banter distraction, but.
So the
Yep.
important question here is, aside from the community, are you having fun?
Yeah, actually it is really fun. It's funny too, because like, I don't know, he just entertains some of the weird shit that I sent over. It's like anyone with half a brain would be like, what the fuck did you just say? And he like entertains it. It's funny. Oh God.
Well, once again, I think the universe is slapping you in the head. You remember our first, honestly, let me turn back the clock. You remember our first conversation in Spider Monkey, whatever that was? Remember, whatever, Spider Monkey? Was that
For
what it
Twilight?
was? Huh?
For Twilight?
No, Spider Monkey videos.
Refresh my memory. I don't remember, like Spider Monkey, the monkey Spider Monkey, or Spider Monkeys that are like in a fishbowl or something, and you could get them in a packet from the store.
So was that YouTube guy that went by Spider Monkey or something?
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. What was his name? Oh my God. I used to be able to recall it. Now I can't remember it.
I called him Spider Monkey. That's the only way I could remember it. It was a really weird name. It didn't roll off the tongue very happily.
Yeah. And he ended up wanting to try and work on The Secret. And somewhere in Florida, he ended up getting him and his girlfriend, I think, kind of stranded on this little island. And he had to call the fire department to come save them.
He had the solve of it was in West Yellowstone.
Yeah, right on the border.
Went to the fucking snowplow that was on display in the center of town. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I remember. I feel like he never really liked me. I was like a fan of his videos that he would do and stuff. And it just felt like he was never a fan of me. And I was just like, damn, I think this dude really does not like me.
He dished you bad. Like you could tell he had a plan. in my opinion, he had a plan and he'd been to college. He knew psychology and all that. And he was playing this game and you just wiped in there. He discarded you left and right. I remember that. And then I popped in. You made the comment about I got an invitation to Christian.
I didn't know it was the sort of subject. I was just trying to conversate with you.
Well, you made the comment. I was like, hey, you got the invitation. And I never talked to you before. I knew who you were, but I never talked to you. I'm like, oh shit, it's game on.
You're like, this bitch.
Oh, you want to play? All right, let's go. Hold on.
I was really trying to be genuine and find something to talk to you about to try and show you like, hey, let's be friends. And you're like, violence. I chose violence and woke up today like, fuck.
Well, now stop and think about this. You knew who I was and what I was doing. And you want to like all of a sudden say, oh, Christy and Mike like you, they invited you to the wedding. I'm like, oh shit. She actually fucking said that. Holy shit.
Because I genuinely thought you were invited. I didn't know the whole situation. I remember one time I was on the phone with Christy and she was going off of the names of the guests for the guest list or whatever. And I can't remember how you were brought up, but it kind of made it seem like you guys talked and stuff. So I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. You're going to be at the wedding. So maybe I could talk to you, you know, be someone that I could know at the wedding. And it was just like completely blew up. And I was like, oh, fuck. All right. Good day. Like, retreat. But yeah, no, I remember it went down in his chat room.
Yeah, that was classic, man. I'll never forget that. It was a pivotal moment in our relationship.
I was like, this old man's being an asshole. And then Davey was being an asshole at the time too. And I was just like, I had all these angry old men. And then Trusted was mad and angry at me too. And I'm like, great, I've got fucking bad Santa over here wanting to give me coal for Christmas. This random dude who's like saying a bunch of mean shit. And then Davey who's in Australia saying mean shit. And I'm like, fucking old men.
Well, I'll be honest. I'll let you in on another secret. When you started like doing the old man in the underwear in the base, I was like, oh, honestly, I'll be honest. And I've told you once before. I knew I had you right there. I'm like, oh shit, I got her attention. Let's see how far I can go with this.
Yeah, but did you notice that like whenever I try to like clap back, I always say shit that's like really funny and comical. And that's kind of like how I'll clap back on someone. Like if someone's going to try and trash me, or if I'm like in an argument with someone, I always say random weird fucking shit to the point where it's like, I seem crazy, so you shouldn't fuck with me. Like, who do you know would ever say you're like some balding pedophile living in his mother's basement that believes fucking mayonnaise is a finger food? Like, really? Bitch, you crazy. You need to check yourself into a mental hospital. Why are you talking to me like that?
No, I took that as, oh, she thinks she has a sense of humor. Let's see how I can twist this shit.
But it's still to this day one of the funniest fucking insults you've ever heard, right?
Well, it goes back to what I said earlier. I know who I am. That's all that matters to me, honestly. I know who I am. I want other people to think of me, especially my family. We all do, certain people in our lives, it doesn't have to be family. We have a standard that we want to uphold to them. But the bottom line is, I know who I am. I can say the most outrageous fucking things to people who know me, once they know me, truly know me, and they fucking take it as a grain of salt. But at the same time, they're like, oh, fuck, they will think about that motherfucker just got what? Did he just fucking say that shit? But come on, let's be real about it. I'm not doing it to hurt people. Wake up. Know who you are. If we all know who we are, what seems to be the fucking problem in the world?
This is true. This is very true.
I will take over the world sooner or later. Trust me. I'm working on it. God damn it.
Well, it takes me a bit to really trust someone, especially if I don't know them. And now, like, I would actually trust you and Trusted. I would. And I know that's probably like the dipshit, dumb, idiotic thing to do, but I would
That's
because
the worst thing you could do. You didn't learn nothing, did you?
no, I would trust you to a certain extent, not with my life. Okay. Not with my life. No, but I would trust you in a sense that I give certain details and information of my life because I know you've experienced these same things and you can actually give good advice on how to approach the situation or deal with it. That's the type of trust I would say I believe.
Well, I was just fucking with you, man, trying to lighten the mood. No, there's nothing that I have no place in my heart that would ever hurt you. Ever.
Are you kidding me? If we were both in a fucking bear cave, you'd be like, take this bitch first and throw me over. So while you try to waddle away.
No, I'm an old man. Fuck, she's younger than me. Fuck, I'm ready to go anyhow. I'm tired of this shit. No, I would never, my intentions would never, anything I've ever said and done from that spider monkey point on, even that was never intended to hurt you. It was to get your attention. Say, hey, let's talk, man. I want to talk with you, but first I want to piss you off and see who the fuck you are. Let's see what you got. And you, like I said, you've hung in there with, I mean, let the community, who the fuck are the community? They're a bunch of crazy motherfuckers, man. Just, they're crazy. All of them. We're all crazy.
Yeah, we are. We are truly all crazy.
Be happy with who you are. I think that's the title to the gold. Be happy with fucking who you are. If you're happy with who you are, how can the world around you be any different than that? It's how you interpret it. It's how you saturate it into you. And it goes back. Did anyone here read The Thrill of the Raise of Hands? Who read The Thrill of the Chase, a memoir by Forrest Fenn? That pretty much tells what we all experienced. We can all relate to it.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting? I forgot who brought it up. It was in Discord. It's just, it was USA China, Sam. There's a screenshot of someone asking Fenn about the poem. And he replied back that only the man who wrote it will take it to the grave knowing what it means or something. And the way in which he worded it was so it kind of alludes to the fact that maybe Forrest didn't originally write the poem that we know. Like, you know what he continuously does throughout The Thrill of the Chase? He takes other people's words in poetry and reiterates them to reflect his own words, right? So it's kind of like a copy. It's not plagiarism in a sense. It's just a copy of what the other person says. Like, you see it everywhere. And it makes you really think, like, did Fenn really write that poem, or did he find something and then do exactly what he's been doing? Just reiterate those words into his own words.
Well, if I told you, hey, I hid a multi-million-dollar treasure and I wrote this poem that took me, I don't know, 2 months to come up with, and it's a map. Have at it. Or I told you, I hid this treasure worth, I don't know, millions. And I worked on this poem for 15 freaking years. Did he just not insinuate that it's harder? Working on something, you can think about something. Like, for example, you want to move. The longer you think about it, it becomes part of you.
Yeah, to an extent.
I think he was Forrest was a bullshitter. It never took. He thought about the answer to the poem for 15 years. He thought about the answer, but in my opinion, he never worked on that poem for 15 years. That was just him blowing smoke up everyone's ass. Which I'm not degrading him. Good for him. A lot of people bought that. I didn't. Nah.
Yeah. It's not like
like exactly what he says. Like, who's the fraud for someone, like, you know how he was talking about in the chapter, what was it, Goldenmore, I think, or Teachers with Ropes, one of those chapters where it says, like, who's the fraud for being interested and liking something and then eventually finding out, oh, that's not the original artist, right? And he's like, who's the fraud? You're saying you like something only because it's an original and not because it's a, you know, a copy. And I feel like that's the same concept. Like, even if he took something and reiterated it into his own words, it doesn't make it any less important or thought-provoking. Regardless, whoever wrote that thing, it really is the most deepest rabbit hole of a spiritual awakening that you could ever come across. Like, it really makes you question what your turn on here is going to be and not to waste it.
That poem will take everyone who reads it where they need to be, not where they want to be. And I think that's the masterpiece of it all. He emulated his father. It's quite obvious. And he was so good at what he did. And I think he was an empath. He was so good at interpreting the world and how to skirt around it and alter the edges. And to him, he was very proud that he could do that. But to his father, it was the whole nose to the grindstone, you know, and it was a different approach. But look at how many people his father impacted throughout his educational career. And
Yeah.
Forrest alluded to it. So how would Forrest leave this? What would Forrest's legacy be? He loved his father, loved the fact that he changed, but at the same time, when he Googled his father, there ain't shit there. There ain't the people's stories in life. No. So how does Forrest emulate that as a legacy, not only to himself? I think Forrest was he wasn't, it was more about his family, his father, in my opinion. It wasn't about Forrest. He was emulating his father. He was the middle child syndrome. How can I stand up to my father's love and respect, even though life has come easy to me because I'm special? I think that's what we're experiencing, honestly.
Well, so remember how I had a bet with Rudy for the bottomless mimosas? Do you remember that?
Yes.
So I finally got him to pay up because I won. So he had to drop some secrets, right? Like, he had to answer 2 questions that I asked. I only got 2 because he's a cheap genie and he gypped me on 1 wish, but whatever. So the first question I asked was actually about the jars, because I've been working for a while trying to figure out how to locate one. And the information he gave me, I think, was really good. And I'm not talking about like, oh, the exact pinpoint location. Like, I wouldn't reveal shit like that. I would never reveal someone else's hard-earned research. But what he explained to me made a lot of sense. And I think I already know where one of those jars is located. So when he answered the question, he was talking about how, and this would go for, you know, the Thrill of Chase as well, like the poem. But again, you know, you say, you know, what if land isn't an issue? But still, I want to try and find a jar because I've always been interested in that. I think it's like super important. And so he said that in order to be able to find something, Fen gives you instructions on, or it's like natural directions, right? And so one of the things he said was the poem itself was actually him guiding you from point A to point B. And he just used different verbiage to try and kind of confuse where like point A and point B is. And so anywhere in the book, he is guiding you is actually instructions on how to find a jar. And I was like, I think you're 100% right about that, because there's one specific part in the book that I've always gravitated towards. And I'm like, I know there's a jar here. There's a jar here. And I think that's really cool. So now it's like, if people are, wanting to find the jar or whatever, I would say open the book up again and really think about anywhere he's trying to direct you or guide you to go somewhere, because that's actually how he did it. So I think,
Well, my response to that, looking at a 70, 80-year-old man, if he tells me in his writings that he can't even remember where he hit him, I'm going to discount him like I don't need to know. I just know there's information out there buried, hidden, that the person that hit it doesn't even know where it's fucking hidden. That's how
well, I mean, to an exact location he means, but not like the area itself. The area is what he's guiding you to.
Well,
Like,
once
think about
again,
it.
the person that hid these jars can't even remember where he hid them. That tells me it's trivial. No, it's just the premise of the fact that something's hidden and the person that hid it can't even remember where it's hidden. You have to find it. Teachers with ropes. Do it yourself.
But like, think about it. There are so many instances in TTOTC where he's guiding you. Prime example, looking for Lewis and Clark. Prime example. And after his passing, someone leaked Rumblings and Ramblings. And in Rumblings and Ramblings, it was actually revealed the place where him and Donnie Joe went was actually Lost Lake. Don't you find that fascinating?
Well, what I find fascinating is they had a good map and they had a good plan. Besides the three whatever candy bars they had a good plan. Baby Ruth, they had a good plan. But here's the catch. What did they do with that good map they had? They fucking started a fire with it. That's what they thought of it. What does that tell you of the adventure of Lewis and Clark? Was it a folly? And isn't that the chapter where he gives us where he started more rules? Remember the rules? Oh, remember rules of life or whatever he categorized it as?
That was in Goldenmore, wasn't it? Where he said he was going to start to wake up early and just like think about his lot in life, or no, not his lot in life. He would lay in bed. Oh no, it was My War for Me, wasn't it? Because it was after he got rescued.
No, it was Lewis and Clark. What he says, they started a fire with the good map they had to get out of there. The only map they had, he burned it. That's what he thought of this map.
Well, yeah, but you asked about the rules.
Well, if you look in that chapter, he gives like 5 or 6 rules, something about Hollywood isn't what it makes.
Oh, you're talking about the list? Okay, yeah, at the end it's the list.
Yeah. List of
like,
rules.
Porcupines or whatever, and then like pine needles aren't good for coffee. Like, yeah, I remember.
Okay, the one thing he said he's not going to talk about that they shot and ate, I think is crow. They ate crow. He didn't want to admit it. Crow.
Yeah, remember he was underneath the lapis lazuli sky? They were talking about it. They were in Montana and they were under a lapis lazuli sky. Well, so, okay, remember how there was rumors that there was a jar that was allegedly found over at the Dude, like right there for the Dude? Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah, it's along a fence row or something, right?
Yeah, so get this. There's a chapter, remember, from Too Far to Walk, but it's also on the oh my god, what's it called? The Daily Bozeman Chronicle, that also is the same chapter. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Fenn giving natural directions in that chapter? Check this out. Daily Bozeman Chronicle. Let me find it. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Boyhood Memories of West Yellowstone Long Ago. I think it was this one. So from about 1937, when I was 7, until I joined the Air Force in 1950, my family spent every summer in West. My father was a school teacher in Texas and had the summers off. Both of us were professional fishing guides and later became motel owners of the Dude and Fenhaven. In the 1940s, when I was very young, teenager, my dad and I liked to get up early to fish in the park. The West Gate didn't open until 6 o'clock, so the night before, my dad would leave our car just inside the log fence that separated government land from a little village West Yellowstone. Many times we found ourselves fishing at first light, and it was not unusual for it to be so cold that ice formed in the gate guide on the tip of my fly rod, making it hard to retrieve the line. One morning, when it was mostly still dark, this is what's now known as buffalo smoke, right? But he gives you directions and he talks about certain spots that he guides you to. So like right there, he's telling you in the 1940s, before they would go and actually fish in the morning, his dad would have to like put their car right in between where it was the West Yellowstone border to the park border. And that was actually Fenhaven right there. That was Fenhaven. And then the other part he's explaining is actually the Dude itself. And then there's actually one more story about the Dude that's in Daily Bozeman Chronicle, where he's giving you specific directions. And so I find it fascinating, if I could find that one, where if there's a rumor that a jar was found over by the Dude, is it possible that specific, let me see if I can find it, that specific chapter is what guides you to that specific spot? Like, let me see, Forest Fen, because that one was buffalo smoke. So I think there's a jar for buffalo smoke. And then, why isn't it giving me all the options for Forest Fen stories? Okay, I've enjoyed to the editor. Okay, memories are past and rich are present. That's looking for Lewis and Clark. How the Dude came to West Yellowstone. This one right here. This is in Too Far to Walk. In 1962, my brother Skippy asked me if I wanted to help him build a motel in West Yellowstone. The question was funny and we both started laughing. I wanted to shake my head yes and no at the same time. Okay, so you look at it, he says Donnie's mother, Bam Hansen, was the postmistress in town, and his stepfather, Pete, made rifles in the winter and hunted a lot. They were really good people, and I remember that Bam had the second go-away toilet in town. I forgot who had the first. Anyways, the two guys didn't have any money, but Skippy would build the thing almost single-handed because he could do anything. But then it starts telling you about, let me see, he was gunnery school at Arizona. He saved up $20,000. He had the stamps. And then when it starts to talk about the Dude itself, he starts to tell you everything. And he talks about Ronald Reagan. And then he talks about like the border. And it's like guiding you from that certain area to where it's rumored that that jar was found. I just think he wants you to find some jars. Okay.
Okay. You keep following.
You're
me.
like, I don't fucking care.
He specifically told me he can't even remember where he hit them. So I'm going to leave that to time.
To time. Hey, there's Susie. What happened to Trusted? Did he fall off? Let me see. You sound like you're about to fall off the fucking face of the planet.
I'm about ready to go into this cave of fucking infamy. I don't, yeah. I gotta get prepared. I gotta get lubricated up, man.
Don't go into a cave, Street. If you do go in a cave, go to the one in France that had the whalebone that Da Vinci touched, okay? Or was it Da Vinci? It was Da Vinci.
Isn't caves where we find ourselves?
Are
that-
they? I need to
Yeah.
avoid them.
No, you're supposed to go in the caves. You're supposed to find yourself.
No, no. I could go through a spiritual metaphorical cave, but if there's an actual bear in there, no, I'm not gonna fucking stick my head in there. I'm good. You should go to the rainforest, okay? Where was it that they just discovered like a whole new fucking world in a sinkhole? I mean, if anything, if you really want to like push the button straight, you should be going to Antarctica, all right? Go hang with the Nephilim. I forgot where it was. I think, God, where did I hear this? They were talking about how the Nephilim are just chilling with the government and shit, and they're trying to prepare for an intergalactic war of like God coming down to smite our asses once again.
So it sounds like they're still picking sides, right?
I mean, but the question is like, what's the real side to choose? Like, can't you all just leave us the fuck alone? Why do we have to choose? Why can't we just do our own thing?
Because we're a petri dish, man. We're their little creations. They have to keep an eye on us.
Yeah, but we're there's more of us creations than there are them. So therefore, if we try to usurp them, it might have better results.
Well, you can have a billion idiots against one genius, and it ain't gonna get you nowhere.
I just hate it, like especially the same concept of politics and religion is like everyone keeps forcing you to pick a side. And it's like, why do I have to pick a side? I don't want to fucking pick a side.
It's a pack mentality. There's safety in numbers. It's in our DNA. That's another hurdle the human condition has to fucking contend with. It's sad.
I don't want to deal with the
You know the sad part to me, Candy? There's people that live their entire fucking life, 80, 70, 80, 90 years old, and never realize they are worthy. They never realize they're always battling themselves, knowing they're not who they think they are, which is worthy. How can you not be worthy?
Well, I mean, it goes to the whole, consciousness about there's no real heaven and hell, like physically. It's all in your mental capacity, in your consciousness. And if you are in hell or purgatory or whatever, because you put yourself there. And the reason why you put yourself there is because society is convincing you where you belong. And so if you are a sinner, you do fucked up shit, then you are at fault and you deserve to burn in hell.
Kind of like self judgment with a upper hand of society helping it out. That's what it sounds like.
But it makes me wonder too, because the ancient Egyptians, they believed in the underworld and everything. And remember, I forgot the name of it, but it was the scale of truth or whatever, where they would weigh your heart against a feather. And some stuff, like there's some things that have been revealed through ancient Egypt and Jerusalem and stuff like that. It makes you really wonder, like, did they really go to that place? Because I truly believe, like, the whole concept of, oh, the reason why you have dreams and no one ever talks to you, if you ever ask them what time it is, like, shit gets scary and stuff. They claim that, like, there's different realities and different universes, and we explore them when we sleep. And they tell you, like, don't fuck with dreams. Like, when you're dreaming, act completely oblivious. Don't make them know that you're aware of what is happening, because you could get stuck there. That's that whole concept of, what was that fucking scary ass movie where the kid, he did a lot of astral projecting, and when you astral project, it leaves your body vulnerable, because even though your soul is still tethered to your body, your somewhere else. And so you leave your body unattended for other creatures and things to possess you and take over. Insidious, I think that's what it was called. And it kind of makes it seem like the whole concept, because I was watching this one documentary on this person who was a lucid dreamer, right? And lucid dreaming is when you're completely aware of your surroundings and you're capable of changing the outcome of your dreams. And they like are under the impression that this person was doing it so much, and one time they came back and they never actually came back. Like their spirit is stuck somewhere on the astral plane, and like something else took over. And that's what the whole concept of the movie Insidious came from. And I'm like, I haven't astral projected in a very long time or done any lucid dreaming in a really long time, but it makes me really fucking think. There's some scary ass shit out there that we'll never even mentally be understanding of.
Well, let's break it down to its simplest form. What does a feather represent? It represents flight,
Purity?
weightlessness, flight. A feather. So if the Egyptians were comparing your heart, your essence, to a feather, are you capable of flight? Are you capable of accepting the universe as it is and seeing it for what it is? I think that's what the analogy was there.
Or was it more so about the fact that a feather, there's nothing necessarily lighter than a feather, right? And naturally, consciously, if your heart is on the scale against a feather, subconsciously, you're already going to think your heart's going to be heavier than the feather, right? So wouldn't the test actually be about how you perceive things and your subconsciousness? And instead of having a heart of stone, which would weigh it down and make it heavier, you understand that you have released yourself of all those burdens that are keeping you tied to purgatory or whatever death is, and freeing yourself so that you can ascend and move on in the afterlife. Wouldn't that make more sense?
Sure.
You're like, I'm fucking baked on my gourd. Shut up.
No, yeah. It's the same premise, yeah. And what's it all boiled down to? You and your perception of you. I once wrote, Forrest, and I won't verbatim, and I don't have a fucking screenshot I can share, but I once wrote something that said, I am who I think I am because I think I am who I am. Therefore, I must be who I am. If you think of me different than who I am, I must be who you think I am. But before you answer that question, you must ask yourself, who are you?
Yeah. You know what's so fascinating too is there's a lot of lore behind mirrors, right? And wasn't it the Egyptians that actually believed mirrors were really bad to have around you? Because it's kind of like not only reflecting back who you are, but it's kind of like a porthole or whatever, or like portal for other beings or deities to come through.
Yeah, even Native, a lot of cultures throughout the world, yeah, they thought it had to do with your soul. It could capture your soul, your essence. Yeah, they were superstitious about mirrors until vanity hit.
Well, back in the olden days, mirrors weren't they made out of mercury or something? There's some type of material that mirrors were made out of.
It started out with water, simple water in ponds, any type water source, and then they tried to bring it with them. And I think gold disc. Remember the 2 gold discs where they would put water in? Yeah, the gold disc. I think they started over in Egypt with gold disc too, as far as a mirror.
But then it turned into, I think it was mercury.
Mercury?
Yeah, I think it was mercury. Let me look it up. I sometimes I have trouble remembering everything that I find.
Wonder these ancient leaders are all fucked up. They were looking at themselves in toxic pools of fucking liquid, man. That's worse than East Palestine.
Yeah, I know. Reflective surface made out of it was obsidian. So polished obsidian are the oldest mirrors in the archaeological record, dating back as far as 4000 BCE. The first evidence of mirrors as grooming tools dates to the 5th century BCE. And illustrations of elegant Greeks gazing at hand mirrors, these illustrations are found on antique pottery. But I remember reading about Mercury too somewhere. I forgot what it was.
So the freaking Greeks were the one that started ego and vanity.
I don't think so. I think it goes back even more so. So mirrors made of glass backed with a reflective coating of tin amalgam first came into general use in the 16th century. Production ceased around 1900s. The mirrors were made by sliding glass over tinfoil flooded with mercury. See, I knew it had mercury in it. But that was in the 19th century, or wait, no, 16th century, because we're dumbasses. Then we stopped it in the 1900s. So, but as far back, it started with obsidian, and then somehow, when it got to the 15th to 16th century, they started fucking around with mercury. So tin mercury amalgam mirrors. Isn't that trippy?
Yeah, they lived in a dangerous period fucking with mercury. Well, look at the Mad Hatter. Do you know why? Everyone knows they should. The Mad Hatter, Great Britain, Europe, England in particular, they worked with toxic fucking chemicals to make hats, and they would go insane. Was that mercury?
Yeah, I think so. And you know what's really interesting too? So if you look at this, and mirrors originally around this time during Bram Stoker was laced with mercury. Isn't mercury a chemical element with quicksilver, right? It's let me look it up. A chemical element with the symbol Hg and atomic number 80. It is also known as quicksilver, see, and was formerly named hydra rigirum from the Greek words hydor and argyros. So remember how it was talked about that only silver could, like, take down a werewolf, and then also silver was a weapon to use against vampires? Well, the whole concept of the reason why vampires couldn't see their reflection in a mirror is because it was made of silver. So if you were to do a real mirror today, because it's not laced with silver, someone who's a vampire could just look at their reflection. You need an old school fucking silver laced mercury mirror to be able to spot out a vampire. Just saying. This is what goes through my mind. There's something
that sounds like a public service announcement. Anyone in the deep South, Louisiana in particular, get you a silver beer, man. It might save your life.
Well, so I've been watching this one documentary and following up, like keeping tabs on it, right? It's the Vampire of New Orleans, I think it's called. And there's this like really weird, and it's true story too. There's this man who ended up moving to New Orleans. He had a lot of money, but he was very mysterious, and he would throw a lot of like parties. And then all of a sudden the guests at his party started to disappear. And whenever he was at a party, he'd be walking around with like a thick red substance that people thought was wine. And eventually shit got really weird. So the authorities went to the house, the mansion. He wasn't there, but they found out that what he was drinking was blood. And they found a bunch of the women victims that were missing from the parties and shit. And so for a couple hundred years, no one saw anything. And then every couple of hundred years, this same type of person with the same type of face will reappear and start doing the same weird shit. And now the most recent sighting was like from, I think, the 1970s or 1980s in Orleans. And they have photos and it's the same person again. It like looks like the same person. And it's just so freaky because people are like, oh, vampires don't exist. Bitch, if you're going to sit here and tell me aliens don't exist and we're the only fucking life form in all of the universe, that's insane. You can't tell me that vampires don't exist too. They claim that vampires are from the Bible. Like, think about that. And
Okay.
it's probably true.
Note to self, Candy, don't party in New Orleans. Could be
I
trouble.
know, right? And I've always wanted to because I love history.
Well,
And
go
my
to
friend Michelle
Alabama.
goes there all the time.
Go to Alabama. They got the golf too. Go to Alabama, just not New Orleans.
I don't go anywhere because shit happens all the time. Like I fucking went to Scotland and I couldn't even stay a week in a haunted castle because shit started getting really fucking weird. I just feel like I'm highly susceptible to that type of stuff, like the supernatural. And I don't know, it's because of my bloodline or my mindset. I don't know what it is, but it's funny because I'm sitting here talking about one thing and then I'm like, oh, what's mirrors made out of again? Oh yeah, it's silver. Oh, silver, mercury. Oh, maybe that's why vampires can't see their reflection back then. And oh wait, that means that if people are trying to use that as a concept to make sure they don't have a vampire in their fucking life, they need an OG original fucking mercury lined mirror to know if they have a vampire. Like, what the fuck is wrong with my brain?
Hey, this could save someone's life. You don't know. The world's weird out there, man. You don't know.
It's just funny. I'm like, that's why I have to stay sober in order to just, because I go from one thing to another. She went to Scotland and Adam, yeah, I will always regret that. Moisturize. Thank you for that. Yeah, but I feel like that also will save my life because I read up on everything. Anything mythological, I think is fucking real. And it doesn't make me crazy to say that. It makes me like prepared to say that. Because Scotland and Ireland, prime example, Street, they are so fucking serious about the Fae. And they're like, yo, you do not fuck with the fairies. Don't go to this hill or you're not going to come back. Like they tell you the fairies are real. And it's funny because it's like made a mockery of like, if you believe in fairies, you're considered crazy. But Scotland and Ireland that are steeped in history farther back than we could ever fucking imagine are telling you, yo, this is real. Fairies are real. And there was a book I got once that talked about in order to survive fairies, you have to wear your clothes inside out. You have to have, I think it was a daisy in your pocket. What was it? There were some other weird things. Never step into a fairy circle, which is, a mushroom circle. Never step into a fairy circle. And if you ever find yourself in the realm of fairies, never eat or drink anything because you'll never be able to come back. What was another one that I used to remember? Music. If you want to summon them, you use food and music like honey cakes and sweet treats, right? And the type of music. And there's this type of fairies that are like mischievous, that'll like go around fucking with like your household chores and other things. But then there's like scary fairies that you do not want to invite into your personal space. But I remember I used to read all these like little books about fairies because I've always believed in them. And like the one thing that always stuck out is like, you want to avoid getting kidnapped by a fairy? Wear your clothes inside out. I'm pretty sure if I wore my clothes inside out, nobody, including a fairy or a human, would want to abduct me. Just saying. That's what my mindset goes to. Yep, I'm a weirdo. Yep, I think Street found a bear in the cave. He's on mute.
No, I was just digesting a fairy tale. I was like, I've never met a fairy I couldn't fuck with. And I enjoy fucking with fairies. I do. I enjoy the challenge, man. What you got?
Well, I would hope if you believe in aliens, you believe in fairies and all the other supernatural creatures that we've been warned about throughout history.
Of course I do. And I encourage their interaction with me. I never met a fairy. Yeah, whatever.
Well, they just recently found, what was it in Japan? I mentioned this before, but they found actual archaeological evidence that proves certain deities or spirits, what were they called? It was those tricksters, those foxes. They're I forgot what the real name for it, but they found like a gargantuan mirror and a gargantuan-sized sword, and it was used to protect and ward off this one tricksy fox demon thingy. And then there was that one too in Japan where the rock, if the rock ever cracked, that meant that demon spirit escaped, it got released or whatever. There's just weird shit that keeps happening. And something that's always gone through my mindset, because again, I'm a really fucking weird person. Back in ancient times, there was always discussions about these different creatures, like, ancient Greece, you had, the Titans, all these different things that make it seem like it's not real. It's a figment of our imagination, right? But back then, there were fairy tales, there were like monsters from Greek mythology, there's just all these different things. And I always wondered, is it possible that they really did once exist on this earth, but it was because of the planetary alignments? Like, if you think about it, the story of Hercules and the Titans are always about the planetary alignment that's happening right now. Like, right now is the same concept of what they were saying about the Titans, and you would still understand that concept for, the angels locked up in the Euphrates River in Jerusalem or whatever. So it's just, again, different retellings from different timelines. But what if all of these supernatural creatures like vampires, werewolves, fairies, all this other shit, mermaids, they really do exist, but it takes the planetary alignment to be able to connect those two worlds? Because like they have one, world, we have another dimension. And what if it's the planetary alignments that allow these dimensions to fuse together and for us to actually see it? Because it wasn't until a couple of weeks ago, when the planetary alignments first started, that in the Philippines, they like, these girls were in the woods and they fucking saw that one thing. I can't remember what they're called, but they can detach their torso from their body. And it's the most traumatizing shit ever. And they have articles about it right now. Like, they had to seek counseling because they're so traumatized by the shit they saw. And it hasn't really been like that for a while. Like, yeah, you got some scary shit that happens in like fucking Ohio because you guys are crazy. But in the Philippines, or like lately, there's been a lot of sightings of mermaids, and it hasn't really been this active until the planet started aligning. So I'm wondering if that's the key to whatever's happening right now.
Do you know on March 7th that Saturn enters Pisces?
Yeah.
That is a battle of titans. Saturn and Pisces are both titans in their own recognition. Saturn brings karma. Pisces is a dreamer. They're going to be battling for the next until 2026.
Well, there's this one, I don't know if he's a scientist, I don't know what he is, but he said that it's the same thing my mom told me fucking forever ago. And she got it from this one man who worked for NASA. This is like back in, I want to say 2013 or something. And he said that the planetary alignments that are happening right now, all of these planets being in a line with the sun, the moon, Earth, everything, it's all going to create such a strong gravitational pull. It's going to rip the world apart, just like with Pangea. And I remember my mom telling me this and sending me the video to watch, and I watched it and I was like traumatized. I was super young too. And I remember I was in the shower washing my hair and just thinking, like, it's not now, but sometime in the future, this is going to happen. And I was like, there's no way this could ever fucking happen. And now fast forward, I'm 34. This is exactly what this guy was talking about. And now this other person is saying that today, the 4th up until the 7th are the highest, like the warning about how the West Coast is going to have like a massive earthquake. And what's scary is that he was saying, they're saying that he predicted the earthquakes for Turkey and other shit too, all because of the planetary alignments. And he's saying like the 7th especially is the most scary day of all, because that's exactly what you said. When Saturn's going to be in conjunction with Pisces, and all the planets are going to be aligned. And if you think about it, like, it only takes like a millimeter, or whatever you want to call it, of our gravity to be shifted for the world to fucking crumble apart. And it's just like, we're just going about each day like, la 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 la. When
Well,
in
just a
reality,
side
I have
note,
this feeling that we really are gonna just plop in the ocean.
just a side note, my birthday is March 7th. And I'll be 60
Great.
years old. 60, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't think I'd make it out of my 30s. 60, March 7th. And I look forward to Saturn entering my house because I am Pisces. Saturn. About time Karma Boomerang came around.
Dude, I'm tired of the karma. I already paid my dues. Don't make me fucking deal with that shit again.
No, karma's only dealt to the people that haven't learned their lesson. I believe you learned your lesson. I think that boomerang is gonna hit someone else right upside the head.
Well, I mean, when Shannon, she was like barking at me in the messages, and she said like, karma's gonna bite you in your ass, and I was like, fuck you. She wasn't kidding. It did. It bit me in my ass, and I fucking humbled my ass down. I had to deal with the most excruciating, painful experience of my life. Yay, karma. It got me. 100%.
Well, the way to not have karma visit your threshold again is to learn the lessons real quick. Learn them. You don't have to suffer to learn a lesson. Humankind thinks they have to suffer to learn. No, you don't. You just have to sit back on your ass in a pine forest or a graveyard, a pine box.
Marinate on your life choices.
And reflect where you've been, what you've learned, and where you want to go from that. If you want to continue to play the game with the world, well, then keep fooling yourself. If you want to enlighten yourself and walk beyond that step, then look at yourself. That's the only way you can do it. And what better place to do it out in the middle of the fucking Rocky Mountains? You'll find.
Well, like, do you ever notice, Street?
Yourself real quick.
Do you ever notice in like Greek mythology, the Bible, the Mayas, it always seemed like they were afraid of something, like something was ruling them with an iron fist, and they were always terrified. They were afraid of God. They're afraid of aliens. Like, we know it's the Anunnaki. Like, there's no fucking dancing around it. We know it's the Anunnaki. But like for ancient Greece, it was the Titans. They wreaked havoc and judged people and the townspeople. For the Bible, it's God. For the Maya, it was the other weird, the Quetzalcoatl and stuff like that. But it's all the same concept. It's all fucking Anunnaki. And it just feels like there's just been no iron fist. There's been assholes trying to claim that they talk to God and trying to rule us with an iron fist, but it's not really ruling. It's been chaos for how many hundreds of years. And now it feels like it's coming again. Something's coming that's going to shift our whole fucking reality. And then we're going to realize that we've been lied to, because if the real truth got out, no one would ever be able to mentally fucking comprehend it. And I feel like that is very close to coming. Very close indeed.
Why does every nation in the world denounce UFOs? They hide it.
Yeah, that's so weird
But
too, right?
the 50s, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking over 70 fucking years. Every country on this planet has downgraded it and said, oh, no, you didn't see that.
But
Well,
like you did see that.
hello, welcome to God.
And they're making you think like you're crazy because of it. Like, if you say you believe in it, you're crazy. That you didn't see that. You imagined it. And it's like, no, there's something coming. And it's crazy to me too, Street, that every time there is some type of evidence that literally shows you this is what is the truth,
it gets covered up. People get murdered. It's a hush hush. It's been censored by the CIA. And like, what is the most censored thing of the fucking planet? Aliens. And now they're just suddenly, they're trying to force that shit down our throat. Isn't that weird?
Well, I readily accept the gods of all these religions across the world originated from the stories of extraterrestrial people. I don't like that terms, but it's basically visitors from another planet landed here with technology, and it was misconstrued. But at the same time, here's the dilemma hits. At the same time, when they genetically introduced their genes into Homo sapien or monkeys, whatever they fucking did,
I don't trust that.
created
I do
something
not trust
in
that.
us that's called the sixth sense. And unfortunately, we weren't Darwin theory through it where we learned to understand it. We were just thrust with this fucking thing and that's where the Nephilim come in my opinion. These motherfuckers, they knew they were human, but they knew the power of their mind. That's the third eye thing. So I think that was the suppression of them. Like, oh shit, these guys can't even control the knowledge we have. They're fucking barbaric mother. That'd be like giving a monkey a automatic machine gun loaded and cocked and ready to go. Would you walk in the room with them? Fuck no. That's us. But I think they stayed with us because they're obligated to us. They created us, they're obligated. They're ready to see it through. And will it be pretty? No. Humans are ignorant motherfuckers in the vast majority. It's going to be a hard fucking lesson. It's going to be one of those like, oh shit, wipe your brow. Don't want to go through that again. That was pure fucking hell planet wide. Oh, 1,000 years bliss. Yeah, because fucking people realize, holy shit, that was fucked up.
Yeah. Sorry, hold on. Hot Cheetos. I'm too white for this. No, that's exactly it. And isn't it like crazy how for what we talk about, it's basically branding us as heretics, right? And it seems like society is petrified to have people who no longer care about how society perceives them were kind of perceived as a threat. Because if one person can prove that you don't need to be accepted by society, it'll inspire others to no longer want to be accepted by society. And that is how you get an uprising.
Well, let me tell you two quick stories. I tell you a story. Listen, there was a sophisticated, technological, advanced people that came to this planet and mined gold. And they got tired of mining that gold, so they genetically created us. And, okay, there's that story. Now, here's another story. There's this invisible bearded guy that lives in a fucking city floating in space with streets paved to heaven, and he wants you to fucking suffer. And if you don't suffer, he'll kill you, condemn you to fucking hell. But he loves you. Now, which story are you more likely to fucking believe is realistic?
I believe the one that gives you the power to choose your own fucking path. Clearly, it seems like however they're reiterating the truth of the Bible is giving you only one choice. You have to be ruled with an iron fist. If you have any other belief that's not their belief, you deserve to burn in hell. And I feel like the whole concept of life is being able to choose where you decide to take yourself in life.
And that first step on the first choice, not the religious choice, not the invisible bearded guy with the streets paved with heaven. No, they give you no choice. But the first choice was know thyself. Know who you are. How can you traverse this planet, let alone the universe, unless you know who the fuck you are? That's impossible. It's a fool's journey.
Well, like, why aren't people questioning The fact that the Bible used to have the book of Enoch in it. Like, the book of Enoch was taken out of the Bible, yet they're like, oh, the book of Enoch, it's all lies. Don't listen to that. That's subterfuge. That's, that's controversial. But it was in the book. It was in the book. Yeah, you're going to tell me it's not real?
It's because it fronts their charade out, for God's sakes. You're telling me the all-seeing God, he sees everything, each and every one of us. He can even hear our thoughts, for God's sakes. This man is in our brains. And you're telling me for 2 generations that 200 of his angels came down to earth and had human childs, and he didn't fucking know about it for 2 generations? It doesn't seem like, what was he, on vacation that fucking 2 generations? Where was he?
Wasn't he at war with Lucifer?
Now hold on. Let's put that dilemma. He sees everything. He even knows your fucking thoughts. Isn't that paranoia? That's paranoia right from the get-go. You want me to believe in a system of a person that's invisible, lives in a fucking city floating in space, as if that's possible, and the streets are paved with fucking gold, and he sees everything and hears everything I fucking do? Oh, that's fucking, let's grip you in with paranoia, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, see, like, this is the thing too. I'm so tired of people, especially Frank, telling us that we're terrible people, that we're, trashing their religion. And it's like, we're not. What we're doing is we're questioning the evidence that they're trying to put before us, claiming that this is the truth about the Bible. And it's not. Like, right there about the book of Enoch is proof enough that that is not the real truth of the Bible. And so if they could alter and edit the Bible, what else have they altered and edited? And clearly the church has always been an issue. Like, every time there's a bad guy or something really messed up happening throughout history, it's always the Pope or the Cardinal. Every single time. Pope or the Cardinal. And it's like, the whole reason why the Pope or the Cardinal had such power back then and even now is because they are a vessel of God, right? They say that they are the ones that are in contact and have the gift to commune with God, right? How? Do you ever think about that? Has there ever been proof? How can you prove it?
Well,
And if they do, why is it always ending in murder and mayhem and missing abducted children and all this other stuff? And they're going to say, I'm a vessel for God.
Well, I'll compare Frankie Jr. to Pam. We all know Pam Shitra, a whisperer. I consider her as following the beliefs in the system that she follows. And as far as, would you think, if I fucking put up a video and say, holy shit, you guys, Pam was outside my fucking house, would you believe that? Honestly, you would. No one would. But if I said Frank was, and he showed it, he proved it, you would believe it. I think that's where the word zealot, to the point where they're so fucking confused in their own beliefs that they're willing to damage and hurt and, dare I say, kill anyone that opposes their views.
I don't think Pam would be like that. Pam's always been kind to me.
That's my point. That's my point. Pam is not a threat. She is living what she believes. Do good unto others, feel empathy, sorrow, whatever. Pam, that was my point, Candy. No, Pam she is a poster child for that belief system, in my opinion. Frank is a total fucking opposite. He's out to hurt and fucking destroy people.
Yeah, but the whole concept too is, just because we're questioning the Bible and religion does not make us the bad guys, and it does not make us trashing
other people's beliefs and religions. It's just having us question and look at the evidence. And the evidence, there's barely any substantial evidence to begin with. And when you think about it, the whole, what was it? What's his name? His wife, they had a child when the wife was like 99 or something, and they named it Laughter, I think it was. And they spent their entire lives believing that they're going to finally have a child, and apparently God gives them their child. So it's their first child, it's their whole world, and God's like, well, you're going to have to go and kill your child. You spent your whole entire life waiting for this miracle. It happened, and now I want you to love me more than you love your child. So you need to go kill it. So he goes up there to go kill it. And right before, apparently, God sends down an angel, and the angel's like, just kidding. God just wanted to make sure that you were going to prove your love and devotion above all to him and not your kid. So don't kill your kid. Isn't that fucking crazy? I'm sorry. But what the fuck? I don't get that. And people will be like, no, it's showing that your love and devotion is stronger than anything. Love, family, blah, blah. You have to sacrifice everything of yourself to God. It's like, why do they use these stories and the symbolism of fear and no choice? It's always, you have no choice, and you have to sacrifice everything that matters to you in order to be accepted by society. Like, that is fucked. How do people not see that that shit's so wrong?
Lucky for us, we live in a generation. Back in the 70s, I got chastised for my beliefs for Christianity in particular. You got to tell me you're going to stand behind a belief system that believes in this invisible bearded white guy. He's white, by the way, sits on a crown or a throne, streets of heaven, and it just floats around in space. It's a city floating in space. Just stop and think about this. Put all the folklore and all the brouhaha and the magic behind it, and ask anyone, would you believe? Let me just start out with that. Would you believe that anything I say after that? I'm like, fuck no, I won't. What the fuck? What? And although he loves you, he'll condemn you to death. He kills all. He's the biggest serial killer in history, ladies and gentlemen. And
but this is the thing, though, Street.
To prove it.
This is the thing, though. We don't know the truth. We only know what has been written or edited or interpreted by someone else from their point of view. That's the thing. We don't truly know God. We don't truly know whatever higher power to be. The only thing that we know that we can conclude as evidence is throughout time and space and history and religion and everything, mythology, whatever, all of it collectively, there's always a society being ruled by an iron fist.
But Candy,
and that always relates back to the church.
Candy, it's so simple. If you know yourself, you know God. You are God. If you know yourself, you know God.
I'm just saying, like, if people are happy and content with being in this religion and understanding it or in following these beliefs, I'm not going to knock them for it. What I am going to knock them for is if they're trying to force that shit down my throat and they fucking think that it's justifiable to kill me because they believe it to be acceptable to their beliefs. That's fucked up. That's like Frank right there. So, and I'm not saying he's going to kill someone. I'm just saying, like, his mindset fucking terrifies me sometimes. So if I'm going to sit here and say, go ahead, have your religion, it's not going to hurt me. I'm just telling you, look, based off of my point of view, and I've never actually read the Bible, which makes me a prime example of not going to be biased about certain religions. I'm just taking all the evidence at hand. It's showing that there's something wrong. It's showing that we've been lied to. And yet we blindly follow church and society. And that's the thing, church and state. It always talks about church and state. The government and the church are always the ones that rule with an iron fist. There's something going on. There's always been something going on, yet people are too afraid to question it. For example, I saw Today Street on TikTok. This woman has been in a lawsuit for 2 years with the school board because she wanted to ask questions about the curriculums that were being taught to her kids in school. And first they said, you're not allowed to do this. In order for us to answer questions, you have to file a motion or blah, blah, blah. I can't remember all of it. So she ended up filing like fucking 200 motions because she had like 200 fucking questions. And what they did to this woman is they had her go to a school board meeting in front of the entire town, entire school board, and they humiliated her. And they said, we could sue you, but we're not going to. And they were trying to make an example of her because they didn't want any other parents questioning what was being taught to their children. And then eventually it turned out the actual main school board was like, yeah, we actually are suing you. So she's been in a lawsuit for 2 years with the school board because they're using her as a prime example to instill fear mongering into society so that they will no longer question the type of curriculums that are being taught to their kids in school. How fucking crazy is that?
You just explained why I ran for mayor in 1999 in Marion, Ohio. That's exactly what I went through with the Board of Education. I actually fucking said they are condemning and destroying the youth of this fucking city.
And that's what continues to happen. And it's freaky because right now, the only thing that's making me still want to consider staying in California is that California isn't fucking turning women's bodies into ownership of the church and state. Texas, all the other places, you cannot get an abortion. You are literally going to rot away in prison if you get an abortion. Especially the worst part is like, yeah, I agree. People who get abortions because they just don't want to take care of themselves and they don't want to take the proper protection to not put themselves in that situation. Now they're trying to prevent people from having birth control or condoms or anything, and they're wanting it to have, like, you cannot have a choice anymore. Like, your body is no longer yours and you have no choice. That's fucking terrifying. And then the worst part is, it just really pisses me off about some men especially, is that they don't even understand what abortion fucking started off as. It began because of medical procedures to help save a woman's life if there was something medically wrong with her trying to carry the child and they lost the child, so they had to abort the baby so that she didn't die from it. Yeah, there's these people that were like, you don't know about abortion and you're a fucking horrible person, you're killing a person. And it's just like, do you even do research? Do you even educate yourself? And the fact that there's countless states saying, oh, you're not allowed to. And if you practice anything, if you're a doctor or in the medical field, even if you're trying to save a person's life and the baby is no longer alive, you are not allowed to do a medical procedure of abortion, or you're going to lose your license. You're going to be locked away. It's fucking terrifying. And so California right now is the only one that's like, nah, bro, do what you want. It's your body. Fuck it. And Texas is like, nah, if you even think about it, you're going to fucking kiss your life away forever. How terrifying is that? Okay, we found the bear. Street found the bear. I'm just saying, it seems like it's always been politics and religion that rule with the iron fist. And in order to keep society in check, you control the food, you control the land, you control the water, and then they won't have any choice but to follow. And that's what's happening right now.
Oh, Street ran away. No wonder I'm talking to myself at this point. Either he lost connection or he was like, I'm too fucked up and on shrooms to even try and comprehend what she's trying to say at this point. Kind of funny. Just a little bit. Yeah, don't mind me. I'm still dying from whatever this virus is that keeps going around and getting everybody. Yeah. I don't know if I should. No, I shouldn't go to bed with wet hair tonight. That would not be good. It's like really cold. So I need to get warm again because I'm freezing and I feel like I'm getting sick again, even though I was just sick. And I cannot afford to miss more work. So I need to not be sick. Therefore, I need to get warm, but I cannot do the heater because that's expensive as fuck. Ugh. I'm gonna try 70. I'm just gonna try that. Yeah, I don't know if Street's phone died or what. Maybe I should try reading a book right now or watching a movie. I don't know. But I'm cold. I'm so cold. Oh, wait, I need to pee though. Hold on, you guys. Ooh, so creepy being walking around in the fucking dark. No, thank you. Hold on. Yep, it's freezing. Okay, well, I don't know if Street's gonna come back. I think his phone died or he lost connection or something. But I'm gonna try and attempt to fix my eyebrows and wash my face so I can get ready for bed and stuff. So yeah, I think that's it for tonight. It's 9:00. Go enjoy the rest of your night, you guys. There's stuff to do, books to read, rabbit holes to go down, whatever makes you happy. But I'm gonna call it a night, you guys, because I'm cold. I need to do things and then I need to read a book. So it's been fun hanging out. Talk to you guys later. Bye.